So I'd really like to do a deep dive into why the Malcolm in the Middle actors haven't done anything since that show. That's right. Welcome back to another edition of the Ono Radio Show. My name is Owen. I am the captain of this shit ship, as I have been since we started in 2010. Over 14 years of the Ono Radio Show. And although this might be listed as episode 639, do you realize we are actually, when it comes down to it, we are actually approaching our 1,000th episode. If you really look at the amount of uploads that have been done throughout the entire history of the Ono Radio Show, we are close to 1,000 fucking episodes of this thing. Again, my name is Owen, but along with me tonight, my two good friends, my mustache muse, the fentanyl of podcasting, as he likes to be called. His name is Mike B. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing well. My nickname's Fenty B from now on.
Fenty B in the hizzy. And,
you're right.
And along with him is the dirtweed of podcasting. His name is Ty Witcher. What's up, my lizard wizard? How are you doing, buddy?
Just dirt weeding around up here. You know, mind my business.
Mind his business up in the great white north doing his thing. Ooh, I like this. Chat room SJ already suggesting a 1,000th episode karaoke party. Says wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know what? We've talked about doing a karaoke party before. This might be this might be a really good opportunity to do so. So maybe in 2025, that's what we do. We bring the karaoke to you. I don't know where we're gonna do it. I don't know. Here's the thing, guys. I'm already putting it on the books. I'm doing it right now. I'm making it official. And you know, if I say it's official, it's official. Just like the death pool, just like everything that for like I have
super
never
official.
I have never let you down and made an announcement and then not come through. It's certainly not something that the Ono Radio Show is not famous for.
And then made a follow-up announcement saying we were going to revive the thing that we didn't do in the first place.
And then
that's the art, though. You got to string it along. You know, I still want it. I don't think it's ever going away.
No.
So, just mention it every 20 episodes.
And we're good. And then we're good. Yeah, it'll come back. It'll be there. This is the third karaoke party that I think is what's being said that I've probably announced. So okay.
Oh no, the Ono Radio Show, the promise keepers of podcasting.
Yeah, that's what we're good at. That's what we're really, really good at.
The oath holders and the promise keepers.
Let's talk a little bit about our Halloweens, because it is November 1st, and I think for the first time probably ever, I have never felt more curmudgeoned about the Halloween experience. I've never not got into the spirit of it more than this particular year, and I'm kind of sensing that might be going on with you guys too. Am I wrong?
I mean, I'm never gonna not like Halloween. I feel like that's instilled in me, but still. And around here, they have the communities decide when the kids go out, and they went out last Saturday.
No.
and it felt so wrong. Like kids started showing. I'm like, what are these fucking kids doing here?
It's
It's way
not
too.
on the day. It's just like we talked about a couple weeks ago with the trunk or treat and them just like willy-nilly deciding now when Halloween is. No, Halloween is on October 31st every year. I don't care what day of the week it falls on. You can't do it the Saturday before, and you definitely can't do it after. If you show up at my doorstep tomorrow on Saturday, you know what I mean? Like, Even though, and I'll get to it in a second. Well, I'll just talk about it now. Even though I have a shit ton of candy that I bought for the children's, and didn't have a single trick-or-treater. Not even one this year. We usually get a handful, but
do they just know to avoid your house because you're you?
I think the smell of weed that comes from my block might dissuade some of the parents. I think that
it's the open token.
Yeah.
That's keeping them away.
I got a feeling mine's like the only street around me with like no street lights too, so it is like the shady street. But I contend that it should be like for the kids of the neighborhood, it should be like the myth, right? Like there should be like the
old
kind
man
of,
Owen.
Well, no, just like it's like Halloween. You're supposed to do something a little dangerous. You're supposed to go down the street that you're not supposed to go down. That they and you talk to the drunk guy on the porch and get the candies.
You had the best candy. Didn't give out one piece.
Not even one piece, dude. You would be so proud of me, Mikey. I got 2 bags. I got like the chocolatey, the standard, what I would call the chocolate mix of the bite size, right? I got me the one it's got the mini Snickers, the bite size mini the Snickers. I got the Three Musketeers,
gross,
Milky Way,
double. Ew, that half that mix is trash already.
Twix,
really?
Twix is in there.
That's okay.
Why are you hating?
Yeah, why are you hating on Milky Ways and Musketeers, bro?
Because nougat is garbage.
I like it.
What the fuck are you guys talking about?
I don't get rid of the chocolate.
I'm a nougat.
Give me the full noug.
I'm a nougat. Man.
Isn't that what a Baby Ruth is, though?
Nah. There's a lot of filling with the Baby Ruth. I
haven't had a Baby Ruth since I was probably 11 years old.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think
Three Musketeers really.
It's because they suck.
But Baby Ruth, I can't even. Yeah, I don't. I remember the commercial. What was the song? Baby Ruth looks fancy. Baby Ruth is fine. Remember that?
There was a song?
Yeah. There was a Baby Ruth song. Let me see if I can find it right here.
I only remember one candy bar song, and it's Almond Joy. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't.
Baby Ruth
Almond Joy's
song.
got nuts and.
Maybe I've got to
give
put
me
in
that Baby Ruth,
commercial.
Baby Ruth. Give me that Baby Ruth, Baby Ruth.
That's Chili's.
And give me that.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Baby back ribs.
Ooh, Baby Ruth commercial.
I could go for some ribs.
1996. I want to see if it's got the song.
Nougat.
No, I want the song. This is a NASCAR Baby Ruth. NASCAR, yeah. It's a shit commercial when they endorse NASCAR. Oh no, Baby Ruth looks fancy. Baby Ruth is fine. Let's see if we got it. This might be the one. Nope, it's not the one.
Pretty good though.
Nope. That's not my Baby Ruth song. Fuck it. That's bullshit.
I'd party with that.
Oh, we got Big Bopper did one. They did a Big Bopper one. No, that's not the one either, though. Oh man,
they're like, fuck your Baby Ruth song.
Oh, maybe it's this one.
Letting you have it.
Okay. Looks so funky. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. It looks fine. Yeah, this is the one.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I did not want a Baby Ruth until right now.
I still don't want a Baby
I
Ruth.
want it now.
I think there's another one that's like
That
that,
song
but that song
sucks.
is pretty. Yeah, it's pretty fucking good, right? Yeah. Baby Ruth looks funky.
They do look like a shit candy bar. It looks like a fucking shit.
Yeah,
light.
I like how that's part of their marketing campaign too. Is like our shit looks like dog shit. Like so, like you wouldn't want to probably eat it,
It
but
kind of looks like a poop log, but it
Yeah.
tastes real good.
Real
Don't be
good.
disturbed how much it looks like shit, because it tastes so fine.
oh, I
Not
think
like shit.
no, that's that. I think that's got to be the one. Maybe, there's one more. Let's see. Oh no, this is a hip hop beat made from the commercial audio.
Oh.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. That's not a bad one. It's not a bad one. All right. All right.
Oh.
So yeah, zero trick or treaters. Oh, I also got apart from this is why I said you'd be proud of me, Mike. I didn't only just do the chocolate bag. I also bought, which was at a premium. I think it was about $8 bag of candy here.
Oh, that's a little bag.
But I got the trolley mix. It had trolleys and nerds and gummies of various descriptions. Like it, yeah, I did that one. Laffy Taffy, I believe, was in there as well.
Yo.
How do you feel about my selection there? I like because I think you need to have both the chocolatey ones and your gummy or sweet ones. You know, I think you got a bit of both.
So I do agree with you in that you do need to have both types of candy, because I was always more of a fruity candy kid.
Yeah.
There's only like one or two actually chocolate candies that I like. So it would be good to have both. Now I will say nougat has never been my favorite.
Nougat.
I'm a nougat guy. Yeah, I think me and Tiger are your nougat contingency on the show right here.
That's fine. If we were all trick or treating together,
we'd swap.
I would trade out.
Yeah.
I would say I usually try and just pick one candy. I try and get just, if you can, get one singular. I hate the varieties. Just give me one straight big bag of one candy.
What?
And I pick a candy that I like, so that
so you just get like all the Snickers or something? You just get a bag of the Snicks?
But he's not talking about for trick or treating purposes. He's talking about himself.
Oh,
right?
No. This is for trick or treating purposes.
Okay.
You just get one thing?
That's
you pick like one singular thing.
Why would you do that?
Because I pick like Skittles, and then you buy the bag of like the one fun size little Skittle bags.
The one flavor, just one.
It's just normal Skittles, all in the mini bags. And that way, at after about an hour, after I'm done with trick or treating, like after I'm done handing out candy, you can just shut the door, turn the light off, and now I got Skittles.
Now these are yours. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I do get
Embrace
the logic.
variety. Variety is the spice of life.
See, I'm with Ty on this one. The kids want the variety too, you know?
Well,
but I'm also you're missing out on the fact that I am team fuck them kids.
Yeah, I like, you know what though? Halloween, I am also kind of, I think we're all kind of team fuck them kids. Like, I'm not a big fan of children, but I have a soft spot for kids in costumes. I think it's cute. And I think it's fun, and I want to endorse it. I want to support it,
and that's cool. It's fun for roughly an hour.
A good solid hour.
And then light goes off, chair goes inside, candy comes inside too. I eat some candy.
So what did you guys do for Halloween? I was just sitting on my porch waiting, with my buddy, smoking a little marijuana and drinking some beers. And then again, no one showed up, but that's all I did. That's all. That's what my Halloween experience was. I was gonna do my whole like devil's chair thing. I was gonna put on my devil mask and suit, and I was gonna like
that. Except that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it did. Well, once I kind of got the vibe early on. I'm like, shit, no one's coming. You know, so I was gonna do it, but then I'm like, I backed out. Yeah. But what did you guys do?
I mean, I worked. I don't know if you had to work or not, but
I don't work anymore. I only work when I need to work. When I want to work.
That's true.
You know?
Yes, sir.
You know?
I did my annual hot dog wearing. I always bust out my hot dog outfit every fucking Halloween.
You wore it to work? Yeah. It's always a hit, no matter what.
People love seeing the wiener every time.
And it doesn't work as well if you're just like an average height human, right? Like I feel like the wiener does work especially well for your body type and how tall you are. Your hot dog costume is just, it's going to be a hit no matter what. I will say your hot dog costume has seen better days. Like it looks
good.
The last time I saw it, I think last year, it was looking a little ratty. So I could only imagine.
I'm not going to lie. It actually looks pretty good, man.
Does it?
I've watched it, I think, twice in its entire lifetime, which is long. Like thing. That's got to be like 15 years old.
It looks 15 years old, Ty.
Yeah.
It looks 15. Let's be real.
There was one or two particularly crazy ass Halloweens where it did need to get washed, but it doesn't stink. It's in pretty good shape.
It's faded though. It's faded. Like
I'm gonna put on the hot dog. It's right here.
Yeah, put it on. I think last time I saw it, I think it was kind of faded. But I'm wrong.
Wow, he really does have it at the ready.
Yeah, he's got it ready. It's not as faded as I remember. It does look like a 15-year-old hot dog.
Yeah, I think the hot dogs they got now are a little bit better.
Yeah, this is an old
hot dog.
He's definitely an old school hot dog.
Yeah. He's defensive of his hot dog costume. I mean, Ty will roll with the punches with us and me making fun of him for a lot, but he's not going to stand for you knocking his...
Just defacing the hot dog.
Yeah, defacing his hot dog costume. This is his pride and joy. This is up there with his spinning dice thing that floats in the air.
Oh, the floating magnet dice.
Yeah. This is like his favorite thing that he owns.
I don't know about that, but I do love it.
It isn't as faded as I remembered it, Ty. So good job. You cleaned it up good. It's a solid hot dog. And I think that your old school hot dog costume is better than the new school hot dog costume.
It's a good costume. Holds up.
Yeah. What about you, Mikey? What did you do? You had to work?
No, actually, yesterday I was off. I did Tom and Dan in the morning, went and visited those guys, did basically a whole show with them. And then, honestly, I came home and napped for a while because I was just fucking beat, dude.
Well, let's talk about that. You went in and hung out with Tom and Dan. You did a corporate time with Tom and Dan, which...
I did.
I don't believe that episode is... aired on the radio because it was all Orlando City soccer or something.
Oh no, it's going out next week.
Well, it posted on the podcast feed. Yeah, it did post on the podcast feed, and I didn't have time to listen to it all, but I only heard the first 5 minutes, and I got a bone to pick. This motherfucker thinks he can go into Tom and Dan and do my bit. Thinks he can go in and do my bit. Doesn't even have the theme song. Doesn't even a bit that I have done on Tom and Dan before.
Multiple times.
Yeah. Thinks he can just go in willy-nilly, steal my bit and steal my thunder. Again, I haven't heard it all. I don't know how it all went down, but I do take some umbrage with the fact that you can't come up with your own bit and that you had to steal one of mine to be this. Oh, look at me! I'm the funny guy, Mike. All right.
Now, Ty, did Owen also tell you that I asked him and said, "Hey, is it cool if we do this?"
I think it was in the group chat. In all honesty,
Yeah.
And we do actually address it in the episode.
I said, I'm like, okay, all right. If you know,
I believe you said, "I support it."
Oh man. Well, I didn't really, like, in my heart, like, I said that.
Oh.
but
So now we're just we're lying.
yeah. Well, I lied to you because I knew that you weren't creative enough to come up with your own bit. So I'm like, okay, give the special guy, the little. He's autistic. Just give. All right, we'll throw him a bone.
That's leader of the R team to you.
He can use my bit, I suppose. But
then you didn't give him the audio for the clip.
No, I didn't do
call
that.
bullshit on you, sir.
I actually did fuck you over on that one. I should have got you the audio. I should have got you the audio for products.
Also, Owen, weirdly enough, you did products before, and did they ask you to come back?
Oh, I've been asked a million times to come back.
Cool. They asked me to come back too.
Oh, yeah.
They said, let's make it a monthly.
Oh, they want to make it a monthly. All right. Well, I guess so you're stealing my bit and you get, all right. I see how this works. I'm trying to find the song. I might have even lost the song. It's been so long that we've done products. It was one of my
innovation.
Yeah, it was one of my finer pieces.
Technology.
I'm sure I've got it here somewhere.
Business.
Maybe I'll surprise you with it. But how did it? Like, seriously, did it go well? Did you have fun?
No, everything. I was a little nervous because, like, picking products it's difficult. I assume it's really difficult for you, even if you're doing it for us.
Yes, it's a hard segment to put together. That's why I don't do it that often, because it's you gotta let the products build. I burnt myself out of products. I used all the products, so I needed new products. I needed to wait like a while until we got new products into the fold that I could, put out. But now I assume you found some good products. Give me a couple that you used.
All right, so I did 4 of them, and we kind of started and then built up. And so for the first product was a wind guard lighter. It's like a lighter sleeve that's got like a pop-up wind guard on it.
Terrible product. Don't like this product. This is poor choice.
Well,
this is poor choice.
Hold on. Did 10 minutes with it. So not too terrible.
All right.
Next product was specifically for Tom. It was a running handbell.
Yeah. Products. Innovation. Space. Technology. Business. Cufflinks. Buzzwords. Future. Space. Products. See, that's how you start a products. That's how you do it.
Good. That's real good. Third product was a non-surgical EEG, like computer neural interface.
Okay.
Which honestly I think is pretty cool. Because again, like a lot of EEG stuff requires some amount of like surgical implant
invasiveness.
Yeah. It's Neuralink is cool. It's a really awesome thing, but they got to literally put that shit in your head.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
And the last product was kind of the big finish, and it was a dildo alarm clock.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You put it in you to wake you up?
Yeah. I'm already picking up what's going down here.
Whether you're putting it in the P or the B, doesn't matter. Fits both.
So you did a 4 product scenario.
I did.
All right, I'm gonna suggest that you strip that back to 3 products. The 3 products is the optimal amount for products.
Gotcha.
I will listen to the full bit when we get off the show tonight. I will listen to it, and I will give you a full critique of what I think that you did right and you did wrong in using my bit. But I'm glad. Did you at least promote the Oh No radio show? Did you at least?
Oh yeah, I did all the promos like we do. The only thing I didn't do was the phone number. I just didn't. We don't always have it on.
Fired.
Um,
Fired. I even pulled it up tonight because I was expecting all the calls from like your appearance. I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna get all the calls, on the line. It's pulled up right now, and not a single call, Mikey. Not a single call.
Just like Halloween.
Just
Yeah.
yeah. By the way,
I
if
think
you
Owen just needs some company. I think Owen's just desperate for human interaction.
yeah, I have been kind of like sitting around the house, not like when I'm not working, I'm like, oh, what do I do? Like, because like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I
I
don't know.
don't have a purpose right now.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
just
My
kinda-
wife's at work. Shit. What do I do?
Well, and after you beat off like 2, maybe 3 times, you're like, well, now there's absolutely nothing to do.
Guess I'll grab a White Claw.
That's the dangerous part now,
Yeah,
being
oh,
like
yeah,
more self-employed. Which I do take offense to that term. We're all fucking self-employed. You choose every day. You choose to go to fucking work every day.
Yeah, I get what you mean, and it's like I have a boss for the week. I don't have a boss like a boss. Like that's, I guess, like the difference. It's like I don't have a boss,
Mhm.
but I do have a boss for the week, right? So I'm like still technically like a boss.
Yeah.
I'm not, like, so, yeah. No, I get you.
You-
By the,
you know what?
By the way,
Owen is
real
living
quick,
high life.
real
Owen
quick.
you're reliving my life.
I know. Just doing it a little later. By the way, if you want to give us a call, you can do so at 407 906 6466. Yeah, 407 906 6466. You can give us a call. That'd be awesome. Where phone lines are indeed actually open. So yeah, what'd you do after Tom and Dan? Then you just you had the day off. What'd you do for did you do for anything for Halloween, or was
No, man, I do. So, I mean, like I said, I worked a lot. For like 7 days before Halloween. Halloween was my first day off. I worked like 80 something hours.
That's too much. Don't do that. Go back to me. Just don't do that. I don't do that. That's not part of my creed. That's not. I will not do that. Now you.
So yeah, I was just really like, I got up and did Tom and Dan, and I got home and just crashed for probably like 2 to 3 hours, and just like I came home, took my wife to work, and then just like took a big nap.
Good nappy poo. I like a good.
Yeah,
I
like 2,
did
3
that
hours.
today. I did that today. I like a good nap. Yeah, I've always been a fan of a nap.
So yeah, then I, I got up and was like, man, we live in an apartment. I don't think kids are really trick or treating around here, honestly. Like, is it? I didn't think it was really worth it, so I just played video games and smoked weed.
Oh, yeah.
Did that for a little while. Apparently, there was like behind our apartment complex is just houses. Apparently, somebody had like a whole ass haunted house going on,
that's
because
awesome.
there was noise, like repetitive noises like going on.
I would have
like,
gone. I would have gone over, man. I would have wanted to check that out.
I was a little too stoned at that point to be
Right.
like, yeah, let's go start wandering around.
Fair enough. So
Best time.
When we were kids, and we kind of talked about this before, like Halloween used to definitely, I think, go a lot later than it does now. Like it was not outside of the norm for kids to be out at like 10 o'clock still, like kind of like that's probably about the end. But
I think you were wrapping. I think if you were approaching 10, like you were definitely kind of wrapping.
Yeah.
If you were still out trick-or-treating at 10, I think you're seeing a lot less like front porch lights at 10.
Yeah, I think people start turning their stuff off right around 9:30, right? And then like 10 o'clock's probably like the end of the celebration. So for me, it was like I hadn't had a single trick-or-treater, and they always coming all in the past. They've come by like early on too. They've come by at like 5, 6 o'clock, and so I'm sitting out there all night. By the time like 8 o'clock rolls around, it's dark. My street's dark. I pretty much like have given up at that point, right? Like there's no Halloween, there's no trick-or-treaters coming. My buddy goes home, it's just me, and I throw on some tunes. I'm just chilling out on my porch. And the scariest 2 things happen back to back. So we have a guy that lives in the real crappy area of my neighborhood in a kind of a shack. But he must be a veteran or something, because he always wears his like camo kind of gear and everything, and he's in a wheelchair. He does this thing. I've talked about him before, where he'll push with one leg, like he does the backwards thing where he moves backwards down the street to go to 7-Eleven, and he pushes with one foot, and he goes. Well, he was wearing some like light on, like probably like a headlamp or something on the top of his head, right? Which is smart, because so he doesn't get killed by somebody driving through the neighborhood on a dark street at night, right? But it was just this creepy thing, because all you did was heard the sound of this.
Nope.
And then there's this little light just in the street, just kind of moving down, and he goes, "Happy Halloween." And it jarred me, you know what I mean? Like it got me good. I'm like, oh, that was unsettling, but whatever. I sit back down, I'm chilling, I'm listening to some tunes, and then one of the biggest spiders I've ever seen on my porch in my yard starts coming. I hear this like fluttering in the grass, like something weird like's going on. I'm like, what the fuck's got that? And this big ass spider crawls up onto my porch. It's one of those wood spider things, I've talked about them before. We get them around here. They drop out of the trees. I think they're all disturbed too since the last hurricane. Like I think there's like a lot more of them about. I've seen a lot more of them. I had like 3 last night, but this one in particular crawls up, and it's got the hornet attached to its abdomen, whatever that word is.
Abdomen.
Thank you. And it's like, and I've heard about these in like National Geographic before. I've heard about the wasp or whatever that lays its larva inside of the spider. Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
Right? I've never seen one in real life, and and it was just creepy as hell. I squished the fuck out of both of them at once. Like, so I got both the spider and the wasp clunked underneath my flip-flop. But as much as I've heard about these wasp spider things, I'd never seen one before, and I didn't know that we had them in Florida. Have you?
How do you know it wasn't just a wasp that sting that motherfucker?
What? Well, why would they do that?
I don't know.
I mean, they're probably not happy with each other.
No, but
why do you automatically think it infected it with a bunch of wasp babies?
Because I've heard those stories before in the past. I've heard the.
I feel like that's more
exist.
rare than common, though.
Well, that's why I'm bringing
I doubt
it up.
It's here, like you said. Like, isn't that some weird like
African thing or something? Or I don't know. You might be right, but like, can you look that up, Mikey? Can you find me
I'm
an
already
answer?
on it.
Do the wasps that impregnate the spiders live in Florida? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Ew.
Yep, we got
local to Orlando. They were born in Orlando at the college.
they are born from a swamp in Orlando. No, we have 2 of them. In fact, one Cotesia congregata. The wasp injects a egg into its larval host, and also a virus and a venom that stop the host's immune system from killing the larvae. And then we have trichogramma, which is they don't inject their eggs into live hosts. They find things' eggs and inject hosts into the eggs.
Oh.
And then eventually a wasp baby springs forth from the egg.
So I'm not crazy, though. I probably did see. It's possible, though. It's possible that I did see a wasp hornety type thing fucking like trying to put its babies into a big, wood spider. How crazy is that? And I thought that was super spooky and Halloweeny because it gave me the EBGBs. First you got the wheelchair man, coming by, and then you got the wasp babies. A lot going on over here. Just saying.
Halloween
Dude,
time.
Yeah.
We apparently we got all kind of wasps out here. Like mud daubers. I thought those were just a pest, like bee or wasp animal. No, they help with pollination, so they're cool.
Do they?
Yeah.
Because I kill them all the time.
You shouldn't kill them. Apparently, they help with pollination. They're cool wasps.
I've been killing them.
We got the little paper wasps, which are like the tiny little thin, dainty wasps, but they only kill caterpillars. And we also have apparently a crazy large wasp that hunts and kills cicadas.
Wow. That's actually, that's pretty impressive. That's big, because cicadas aren't small.
Well, and they burrow for most. They're burrowed underground. And apparently the cicada killer wasp burrows underground and finds the sleeping cicada and then kills that motherfucker.
Wow. That is an impressive wasp species.
Wasps are crazy, and they're always mad.
Not animals, though. Insects. They're not animals. They're insects. They're not animals.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it a third week in a row. That's for sure.
Let me ask you about this, because
Are fish animals?
I actually did a good deed. I was talking about earlier, like, what do I do with my time during the day? I'm bored, all that. I noticed that, like, I'm sitting outside, I'm like looking across at the empty lot. You remember when that guy died in that house across from me, and then they bulldozed his house and all that? So there's like just an empty lot right by me now. And
did you weed it? Are you mowing its lawn?
Well,
what are you doing?
I've noticed that people think that it's perfectly acceptable to just throw willy-nilly their trash into this lot. And I got really upset by it because I have to look at that, so I went over there and I
almost like you developed, some might say, a trash mountain.
Well, wouldn't call it a mountain. It's just an empty grass lot that people know that no one lives there. So they just decide, fuck this. And they throw their stuff out, right? And so I collected it all and I threw it in the trash. And I'm like, okay, now I don't have to look at a bunch of like Wawa napkins blowing in the wind, while I'm sitting on my porch. I only really did it because I had to look at it. Like if there was a fence there, I wouldn't really care. I probably wouldn't do it. But anyway, I did that. And then 30 minutes go by. By the way, there was this pile, of it's a bush or whatever, and it's right on the border between the empty lot and my neighbor, my friend's house. So it's always been this well, that's their problem, not my problem type thing going on, right? But I noticed there was a bunch of beer cans in that bush, and I pulled them out, and I'm like, well, that's shitty, right? Not less than 20 minutes after I cleaned up that lot, pulled those beer cans, there was this dude in this black Jeep right around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, comes flying through, slows down just right around there. And it's amazing that I've never seen this guy before, right? Basically crush. I hear him, he's got his window down. I hear him crush a can and I see him throw it out the window. In the bush. Right into that bush. Yeah. And they were all Modelo cans. This was a fresh Modelo can. This guy's banging a fucking roadie on the way home.
Hilarious.
And
this dude's a fucking champion.
And every day crushes his can and throws it right in that bush. And it made me a little angry, obviously, because I just cleaned up that whole area. I just pulled out those cans. And I'm just thinking, what what can we do to prank this guy? And eventually, like when he does that, what can we do to fuck with him? We've got to be able to come up with something between the three of us. Like, come on.
I say we mount like a small infrared laser field, attach that to a small catapult.
Okay, I like catapult.
I
Catapult.
had this exact same thought, in all honesty, but I don't know about. I feel like it's gonna go off on accident a lot, and just people with a beer can.
Load the catapult full of cream pies.
Oh, I like a good old school cream pie.
I want to throw the beer can back into his fucking.
I want that too. I want that too,
what I
Ty. I want that too. I thought of something like I wanted to kind of make like an explosion or something. So like when he threw his beer can, there would be some sort of like kadoosh, and it would scare the fuck out of him. But then I thought like, what about like the people walking their dogs down the street? They're gonna end up setting off the explosion. That's probably not a great idea. So I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with interesting ways that I can fuck with this guy. Because I don't think a sign that says, please don't throw your beer cans here is going to do the job. You know what I mean? Or could I shame him so much? I thought about this too. And I don't, it all depends on the type of person. But if I put like a target there, right? So it's like aim your beer can here, you know, type thing, like, and put a bin underneath it. That way it just goes like, he's got like a backboard and like, you know, like I was thinking about maybe doing that.
Make it like the crying Indian instead, or have the crying Indian with a target on its face, and it'll just bank into the recycling bin.
We could do the target idea, but it's Greta Thunberg or whatever. Her face is on there, and she's all crying, yelling at the world, and like, you know, all these are.
Make the picture like a puppy sleeping with a kitten, so he's got to throw a beer can at like something that's super cute.
So it's like those Sarah McLachlan commercials that I like.
Hit him with an arms of the angel.
Yeah. That's also a good idea. If you've got any ideas for this type of stuff, please join our Facebook group. Let me know. Facebook.com/groups/Ono Radio Show. That's a good place where you can add your 2 cents to this, because I do want to get this guy back. I do want to get him back, but like I don't necessarily want to be like full Karen, right? But I definitely want to just like I want to shame. Like you should be shamed to a degree, but not like over the top where you pull a gun or hurt anybody or you know.
Did you see him roll up from your like porch stoop, like where you're normally perched?
Yeah. But I wouldn't be able to see him coming from down the way. Like that's the thing, because there's like a house in the way of that, right? So like, I only really would know he was there like right when he got upon my field of vision.
Man, mount a speaker in there and just have like an audio trigger ready to be like, eat a dick.
See, not a terrible idea.
Because then you see it. All you have to do is like
hit a button or something and just have it go like, yeah, you suck.
Actually, setting it up is kind of a dick. You'd almost need like a hardwire.
Yeah,
like
you would. Yeah, the tech side of things would get a little bit.
It's not that bad. Like speaker wire.
It's doable. It's doable. I could run it from my buddy's house too.
So, honestly, the easiest way to probably deal with this is just get like a big piece of plywood or something cheap, and literally lean it up against the bush so that he just can't throw any. If he throws anything, it's gonna hit this thing, and then it's like a very glaring like litter pile.
I think either way. That's a good one. SJ in the chat room, post a big sign. Don't be a litter douche like this guy, with a picture of his truck. I could definitely get a picture of his truck front and back and dox him and put that on there. Like, yeah, like maybe I'll do that. Put that on the plywood board, and yeah.
Maybe let's just start with like a picture of the truck and not doxing, Let's not do that.
I'll put his
No,
address
let's
on
do that.
there. I'll put his voter registration.
Fuck this guy.
Fuck this guy. Yeah, I'll do it all. That's actually kind of switch gears a little bit because I mentioned at the very top of the show, Theresa got home and she likes to throw on Malcolm in the Middle, and I've gotten into occasionally throwing some old episodes of Malcolm in the Middle on, and you forget how long that show ran.
Yeah.
You forget how like popular it was and how like much it went into syndication like super hard. And we know with Frankie Muniz, he had some weird medical thing, right? Where he's like he can't even remember all the times he was like back in those days, like on Malcolm in the Middle. Now he's like driving race cars, and that's his passion, and he's obviously got the money to be able to do that. But apart from Bryan Cranston, I was thinking about it. I was going through the list of characters on that show. No one has done anything in the acting world after that show.
Who was the mom? I can't remember.
Lois was the mom.
Now that's the problem. Jane Kasmerick has done some stuff.
Not
as much as Cranston.
Not as much as Cranston. Not a ton. Like, she has done one or two things, and she would be the outlier with Cranston. But none of the kids did. Not Dewey, not Malcolm, not Reese.
Right? Malcolm had a couple movies in his teen years, either during taping of Malcolm in the Middle or directly after.
Okay, where the fuck is Francis, the oldest brother, who's like the older teen brother? He hasn't done anything. Never seen him in anything else, right?
Well,
he's saw. Remember the neighbor?
He's also Danny Masterson's little brother, so he might.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, that's Chris Masterson.
Oh, I had no idea they were related. That actually, now that you mention it, they do kind of look alike and have a similar vibe. So that that might be an explanation for him. That's a solid point.
Dewey was played by Eric Pursullivan. Eric Pursullivan, after everything that happens with Malcolm in the Middle, he just becomes very disenfranchised with acting in general.
This is what I'm saying, though. This is what I'm saying.
Never goes back.
Reese, I think, is the same way. Like, because he had stuff.
He never does anything
prior to Malcolm in the Middle. Like, he was a child actor and did there's a couple of things he did before Malcolm in the Middle, but after definitely not. And then I even think about the character actor that was their neighbor. Name on the show was Craig, big fat guy. And he was always, he worked with Lois, the mom, at the little, Rite Aid or whatever they worked.
David Anthony Higgins.
And he was obsessed with her, right? Like, remember how he always kind of, he wanted, and even the dad, I forgot, oh God, what's his name on the show? Is it Hal. Even Hal, knows he's obsessed with his wife, but he's never going to get with her because they love each other, all that type of stuff, right? It's part of the show. But even that guy, who is a very character actor-y dude that could have been in a million different movies playing that same nerdy fat guy role, I don't think I've ever seen him in anything since.
He never really did anything. There's a couple of characters, the military teacher from Francis.
Oh, yeah, he's in a ton of stuff.
He's done a ton of things.
He had the eye patch, didn't he? In Malcolm in the Middle, he was and he
also had the little hook.
He had a hook hand. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Yeah, he did.
Cameron Monaghan was, I think, a bit character, but he went on to do, I believe it's Shameless. He was a big actor in Shameless, which one
was he? Cameron Monaghan. Is that who's that?
The redhead.
The redhead. I don't remember who you're talking about, honestly. What about Stevie, who is Malcolm's best friend? He's the super smart black kid in the wheelchair and who has asthma. I don't think he did anything either.
Not really. He's got some bit parts. And I guess he did a movie, Fred and Vinny.
I just find it fascinating that there's such a high number of like there was a lot of people on that show, and I find it fascinating that like with all those like child actors like that you really haven't seen any of them really do much in like there's usually at least one that becomes like a breakout star and now is in his like 30s that's like an action movie star or whatever, right? Like, there's usually at least one that I would think with the amount of number of kids that, were on that show that parlays it into a further, like an acting career later down the line. I do find it pretty interesting that show of all the shows, like you don't really see that as much as you do with, other family sitcoms or whatever it is. And I wonder if they just like were smart, like, because like that show obviously had, I don't forget what network that was even on, but it got picked up into syndication, and I think they might have just made shit tons of money that they didn't have to do any of that again. Like, let me look this up. What is Frankie Muniz worth? That'd be interesting. Frankie Muniz net worth. Let me see here. I got it.
He broke.
Hang on.
Broke.
Bro, what?
He said he broke.
Oh, 30 million is what I'm getting. $30 million.
That's not bad.
Broke ass bitch.
You don't have to work really like ever again.
Nothing.
Like you don't have to. And even like I wonder like Dewey and shit, right? Like what's Dewey worth? Because okay, so that's interesting. With all the added stuff that Bryan Cranston has done, right, since this, Frankie was worth 30 million. Estimated net worth for Bryan Cranston is only 40 million. He only earned 10 more million after the fact.
All of Breaking Bad?
Probably a lot of Breaking Bad. He was in that Godzilla movie. He's done a ton of movies.
Yeah.
Well, check this. Chris Masterson is an American actor and DJ who has a net worth of 10 million.
Even still, 10 million, you're good. You don't have to work.
Yeah,
like if you invest
play that
right, if you play that right, you're totally fine. Like I think the level on that is probably around 5 million. If you make 5 million, you're probably all right. You know?
You know how you just said 5 mil, you're still pretty good? Eric Sullivan, Dewey, 5 mil.
Oh wow. Why is he getting paid?
He did nothing.
But he's probably good.
Nothing. That's crazy, dude.
But the rest of his life, he's probably all right. Like college is going to be paid for. He's going to have a nice house. If it's invested right, he makes money on that. He doesn't have to ever work again. Right?
Would you like to know what he's doing now?
And he did it all before the age of like, I don't know how old he was at the end of Malcolm in the Middle, but he was on there. I mean, what was he, like 10, 11 when that show ended? Something like that. Imagine like you did all the work that you ever have to do in your life by the time you're 11 years old and never actually have to, like, if you're not spending stupid, right, you're fine the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that. That's crazy, right?
Now Eric Sullivan is doing graduate work in Victorian literature.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Now
when you're not burdened by having to earn money all the time.
Yeah, you get to do whatever your fancy is, you know?
Yeah.
Good for him.
I will say, while nobody in the core cast went on to do a ton afterwards, the amount of, I'm just looking through the like extended cast list that they give here. The amount of like cameos basically, or people
they did have a lot of those. They did have a lot of those.
Yeah.
The amount of people that grew into like real actors and like have real careers now is kind of surprising. There's at least 10 plus people on here who...
Give me some names.
You've got Emma Stone in here. Hayden Panettiere in there.
Wow.
Like I said, Cameron Monaghan wasn't a big actor, but he went on to do Shameless, and I believe the Joker. He was that new
Cameron Monaghan.
WB.
He was the
Joker
redhead
series.
you were saying.
Yeah,
Say it again. What?
Cameron
Monaghan.
Cameron Monaghan. You had Cloris Leachman on there for a long time. She was also in multiple episodes.
Oh, I remember this guy a little bit. Yeah, he's got a recognizable face for sure.
Yep. But yeah, you've got a ton. Dakota Fanning went on to do a ton.
Oh
of
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
but
it's not like this was their start. They just were in the show.
There was just a lot of people at their young points in their career that had just little flash in the pan. Christina Ricci did an episode. Larissa Olenek did an episode.
That's what I mean. It wasn't like that was
no. They were doing
it.
Showbiz. They were doing it. I think it was a fairly acclaimed show. It was almost during that time for kids and families. I think it was kind of like the top of the bar. And I think that maybe there were a lot of actors that were like, yeah, I'll do Malcolm in the Middle, rather than doing, a lot of other shows. Who knows what was on at that time? But you know what I mean? It had some, I don't want to say prestige, but you get what I mean, right? It definitely had something more than other shows. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been picked up in again, syndication and, still on the low end, $5 million for, the little dude Dewey. And then, but then again, 50 or 30 million for Frankie, $30 million. You can just decide to become a NASCAR driver, I guess, right?
Well, yeah, he does indie stuff too.
He does,
he's
he's
done a ton of stuff.
But he doesn't have to take jobs or acting gigs for the money. He can do it. I like the idea of this project, I can get paid a few grand here and just do that, I'm not getting, I'm not getting my Malcolm money, but it doesn't matter because I can do whatever I want. I think even Bryan Cranston's been like that because he took a few stage show jobs after Breaking Bad, and he's like, yeah, I don't really need the money anymore. I just wanted to do this Broadway thing or whatever it was, So what a nice, I don't know. I just thinking about it today. I'm just like, what a nice way to live, that you can just do whatever artistic project that you feel inclined to do. You got the money to be able to do it. And now you can, I just thought that was pretty cool. And I was curious why the Malcolm people really never did much else. That is something.
I think we stumbled on it though. Maybe you just didn't have to.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be something like that, right?
Yeah, you just don't need it.
Unpopular opinion. I don't like Malcolm in the Middle, man.
I liked it when I was young. I went through a phase where I didn't, and then it has its moments. I'm not gonna say I love all of it, but it has its moments, and there's certain characters and there's certain little gags in it that are pretty hilarious. I think Hal, again, Bryan Cranston, is probably the reason that you watch that show consistently. I've always said that actually Malcolm is the worst part of the show. He is the lame. If you watch him, he's not a good actor. And whereas Dewey, for his age, was hilarious and a great little child actor. He was fantastic. Reese, I would say, is better at his role than Malcolm is in his role. What Malcolm is literally the namesake of the show, but is the weakest part of the whole entire show. And all of the little side quests, if you will, or side stories are way more interesting than anything that Malcolm is doing. And that's every episode. I've always felt that. You go back and watch it, I'm pretty sure you'd find, you'd have the same opinion.
Yeah.
I did want to bring up, while we're on kind of a nostalgia kick, just, zip back to rewinding to Halloween a little bit. Theresa, of course, works at the YMCA, and they had all agreed, or some person decided, we should be superheroes. We should do superhero costumes. And Theresa and myself,
Yay.
we're not big on any of the superhero stuff, whether it be Marvel, DC, anything really. Like, there's the odd movie that I'll like, oh, okay, whatever. But I'm not into Avengers, and I think that whole world got like fucked out, and like it's just like we're not superhero people. So she was like, "What can I do to like still participate, but do like a non-traditional superhero?" Right?
Yeah.
Now, I will say that she ended up wussing out and just like was grumpy old woman and decided just not to, just like kind of all of us decided in the end to just like, nah, I'm just not going to participate and not going to.
She could have been hot dog Theresa. It would have been awesome.
She could have done something like that. You're right. But I was trying to think of a non-traditional superhero that would be easy, because of course she gives me this like the day before Halloween or something. Like, what do I do? Like, well, you don't really have a lot of time to put together a costume here, and I would have helped her. I would have done this like had I had a bit more time. I think again she ended up deciding not to do it, but I think I came up with a really great last minute. Oh shit! You don't have a superhero costume. Especially for our age group.
Do guesses.
Yeah, do guesses. Do guesses, please.
Maid mummy. She wears maid outfit. Oh. She is everyone's mom.
Okay. Not it, but sort of sexy. I mean, maid outfit.
Why'd you go? You did really kind of go sexy for.
I think maid outfits are always appropriate, no matter who you are.
That's creepy.
I'm okay with the maid outfit, by the way. As long, I mean, the fishnets too. Like you got some stocking fishnets. I think.
Now we're talking.
All right, now you know what? I do want to see my wife in that now, Ty. Thank you for bringing that up. I will bring that up to her.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I will encourage.
Do you have any other guesses?
Superheroes.
No, you don't.
I'm trying to think what Theresa would be amazing at.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go and guess while Ty just fumbles around with his answers. One, she went as the Hulk, but all she wore was the styrofoam Hulk hands.
Again, she didn't actually do anything, but that one is good. I do like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I figured like she just found the Hulk hands at work. It was like, I'm the Hulk.
Right. Yeah. Not terrible. Not terrible.
It feels she didn't do anything. So did she do one of those like
You're guessing what I suggested that she should do. She didn't do it, but you're guessing what I suggested that she should do.
You probably said
wrestling?
Go as me. You probably suggested go as me.
It was on the list, but I wasn't about to let her wear my Mr. Blobby shirt. She was eyeing that thing up, and I'm like, she's like, it's scary. I'm like, yeah, you can't. You're not allowed to wear that shirt. It's the best shirt. It's not. No, you're not allowed to wear that shirt.
Right.
No. So no.
Maybe you said, oh, you should be.
I'm going to give you a clue. It was from a Nickelodeon cartoon in our youth.
Did you?
Wendy? No.
Think again. Superhero. Nickelodeon cartoon from our youth. When I say it, you're going to be like, oh, fuck, that's actually a great idea. By the way,
Doug Man.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Quail Man.
I said Quail Man.
Quail Man. That's the one.
Yes.
I'm too high to remember that. But yes,
all you've got to do is put a pair of whitey tighties over top of your shorts. You got to wear long socks. You got to wear a little like a belt around your head. Towel as a cape. Done.
Sock hat.
But you have everything. You literally have everything in your drawer. Anybody can be Quail Man, realistically.
Is it weird, like
easy.
Now that we're
she could have been female Quail Man.
Like, what do you think the percentage of people that would recognize Quail Man if you dressed up as Quail Man?
Our age group. If I saw a Quail Man, I know I would recognize it. Mikey, I think you would too.
Oh, I'd instantly know it.
Yeah.
Well, I love
And you
Quail
would.
Man.
So
I mean,
3 out of 3 right there, right? Like it has to be our age group. The kids aren't going to have a clue, right? What Quail Man is. And
that's what I mean. Like out of context, it's still hilarious, but also what the fuck?
well, yeah, what the
It's
fuck is that?
also it is such an easy costume because you literally just need khaki shorts,
Yep.
a long sleeve green top,
Yep.
a red towel. Shoes are you can do whatever you want honestly with shoes.
Yeah.
Like if
Pair
you
of
really want
Converse
to
work
nail
fine. Pair of Converse work fine, I would say.
yeah, if you really want to nail it, you get the gray Converse and the white socks.
Yep.
The belt is honestly probably the hardest thing to accomplish because
Why?
it does because the belt
Has to
end
kind of do
belt,
the floppy
Double.
thing.
no, it does like a straight up little flop like a quail actually
Yeah,
has.
that's easy to make.
Yeah, you get a coat
It's-
hanger or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm Ty. I'm telling you right now, I've been quail man.
Have
It is
you?
not as easy as you want to make it seem.
You've
Prop
done
Master
so.
Ty
You have
would
done
do
Quail
this
Man
in about an
All right.
hour, and it would look gorgeous.
Yeah. Ty would be able to pull
I would
this
like
off.
to see it.
You get a
I'll
shoehorn.
do
You
it
just
on
get a
break.
shoehorn and stick it in your in your headband there, and then you just put the thing up. You're good. Like I'd find a way. I'd find a way.
Nature finds a way.
Mm-hmm. So we will. We do have to kind of address another sort of elephant in the room because it has been a bit of a week for this individual, and a couple weeks ago, Mikey decided that I am very similar to one Tony Hinchcliff.
That's true. That is, and even in despite of recent events, only furthering
That's why I brought it
my
up.
thoughts that you and Hinchcliff are the same person.
Oh my gosh. So that dude's coming under fire. And
Man, I have opinions about this, but I want to hear what you think.
no, so I have opinions about it too. Was it a smart idea for the Trump campaign to hire him as a roast comedian to just do his job? No, it wasn't. Was it also probably a bad look for himself to do the job and but yeah, it probably wasn't a great idea. I don't think he's an absolute monster for the joke that he told. I think that it's really being overblown. And I do think that at the end of the day, you hire, again, a roast comedian.
An insult comic.
He's going to do his job. If this was not at a Trump rally, this is not an issue. This is he could have done this on stage and it wouldn't have been a problem at any stand-up in the entire country. I think
at his own show, this would have
killed. I think that people are being really overly sensitive about this one. And I don't think that people without senses of humor should be allowed to comment on what's funny or not. Tony Hinchcliffe.
What happened?
Tony Hinchcliffe made a joke about Puerto Rico. He basically said that, there's a big, I think the setup was something along the lines of, there's like a big patch of garbage like floating around in the ocean. Yeah, it's called Puerto Rico. That was basically like the joke, right? Is it an insensitive joke in these political times, at a Trump rally? Yes, of course it is. Was it the right location? No. But is it still a funny kind of joke? Yeah, it is. It's it is. And I'm sorry. I didn't become more of a Trump fan because of it, but I became more of a Tony Hinchcliffe fan because of it. Because let's be real, Puerto Rico ain't great. It does deserve to get knocked a little.
It's not Haiti though.
It's close.
So here's my thoughts about this. You took a guy who is only famous for his ability to insult and his ability to roast. That's fine. Yeah. He's an accomplished comedian. I watch his show weekly. I think it's funny. I think he's funny. I think the concept is not always great for comedy, but I think it allows a lot of people to get out that first, to work material on a national platform.
Well, it's great. It's great for improv in general, right? If you're working on your improvisational skills, that is, I think, would be like that's like the new Whose Line Is It Anyway, if you want to say it that way, right?
Kinda,
yeah. In a way, it kind of feels like it's in that same vibe. Obviously dirtier, obviously a little bit more extreme, a little more, but
now, but here's the thing. You have taken something which in all other aspects should be a very serious event. The Republican National Convention.
It wasn't the RNC. It was a Trump rally.
Okay. So even that, like, you're trying to get elected. You probably shouldn't bring a guy who is known for making harsh, volatile statements at what essentially should be something where you're kind of out there stating your policy.
Yeah.
You're getting out there, you're laying down the ground rules for what your presidency is going to be like. And what you've basically shown everyone is that my presidency is going to be more of this.
100%.
Insults, like blatant racism. Because listen,
you hired the wrong.
It's a joke.
You hired the wrong guy. It's a joke. And also on top of that, if you're people are blaming him for even taking the gig, right? No,
I don't blame him.
No, I don't blame him whatsoever for taking the gig. I don't blame, as much as I don't really love it, because I do think he has a lot of influence. I don't blame Joe Rogan for having Donald Trump and JD Vance on his podcast. If Donald Trump knocks on this door right now, guess what? We're putting him on that couch and we're fucking talking to him.
I'm driving to the studio. I'm leaving my house and driving to the studio.
Exactly, right? Like, it's there. You can't blame somebody for that, in my personal opinion. And I do think, it's the argument, well, you gave him a platform to talk or whatever. Yeah, he was an ex-president and is in the running to be president. Yeah, I gave him a platform because I want to hear what his 2 cents are. Like, I don't like the guy. I don't support his policies. I don't endorse him in the slightest. But we're gonna sit here and talk about it if he comes knocking on my door.
If you listen to the episode, I have not, but my coworker gave me like the long and the short of it.
Sure.
There's not a lot of substance to it.
No.
It's a lot of Trump kind of greasing up Joe and being like, hey, you're so good at this. You do this so well. And I honestly think that's because someone in Trump's camp got to him and said, listen, man.
Go on Rogan.
They basically said, listen, this isn't a Trump rally. This isn't your speaking point. This is this dude's podcast, and it's got a huge fan base, but B, he has also been radically outspoken about, like, I'm going to say and do the things you want and I want, and if you come on my podcast and say a bunch of crazy shit, we're going to call you on that.
And he did. And he questioned him, he questioned him a few times about stuff and never got real answers. He had to just kind of like brush on, just like Trump does in every interview if you've ever seen him. Like, it's always deflect. And there's always that. I listened to a portion of it, got sick of it, turned it off. I also did the same thing with the JD Vance one that was just released. And I got to say, I'll say this straight up. I understand now, after listening to that Rogan podcast, why JD Vance was picked as that VP nominee. He came across really well, really likable, really well-spoken, and admitted to the fact that he has a mouth like a sailor, right? So he was cursing all over the thing. As stupid as that sounds, to hear a vice presidential nominee say the word shit and fuck is actually something. Like, and a lot of people might not even agree with me on that, but I do actually think that kind of means it's a weird little psychological thing, right?
It's completely thinkable because you have to put someone on there who can actually talk, because if you leave this all to Trump, like it's going to be a lot of the same glad handing and stuff that he did.
There's a strong chance that Trump doesn't make it through the 4 years if they get elected, right? So that would be your actual president, right? So you've got to look at that as well as, what if, right?
Trump's what, 80 something years old?
The biggest problem and the biggest takeaway I had from it all is like the biggest problem I have with someone like JD Vance and Trump, we want to basically, okay, try and sum this up really quickly. It comes down to their idea of America and what America should be is the only way. I don't like this, therefore we're voting, that we are outlawing this. I don't like this, therefore we're doing this. It's not representative of all of us that may have, all the women, of course, that should have, rights to their own bodies. And just because he doesn't like abortion, therefore it's wrong, and so on and so forth. That is undemocratic. The whole reason that we have this voting system, this electoral system, is to be able to put forth what is important to you. And just because it's important to him doesn't make it right. And I get the feeling that they don't take into account other people's thoughts, feelings, or votes when it comes to what they think is right in the country. That basically it's my way or the highway. That's the thought process that I came away from listening to both Trump and JD Vance more specifically on Rogan's podcast was, yeah, you come across really well-spoken, you come across really smart, you do all these things, but it's your way or the highway. And that's the reason that I want to say, fuck you.
They had that leak, I believe it was either this week or last week, of a large amount of Trump's own staff that was serving him while he was in office that are like, the things he was saying sound very much like this. None of what's happening is for the betterment of America. It's for like redemption. It's for kicking Trump out of office instead of letting him run that next 8 years. This is all stuff, which, we all assume that's what happens when the new president comes in anyways. He spends a year or two undoing, whatever the last president did. I do think the weird problem is Trump isn't probably even against abortions. I wholly believe he probably doesn't care. He probably doesn't want them to be illegal. He was a scumbag from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
I'm sure he's probably even paid once or twice for one. Like,
exactly.
It wouldn't surprise me. He's doing what he knows he has to do for his constituency to vote for him. Like, it's that simple. And God, I don't really want to get too deep into it because, it's we're almost there, but I guess
so close.
We're so close, and I can't wait for it to be over. No matter what at this point. Of course, I won't be thrilled if Donald Trump wins. I will be very bummed. But I'm ready for all of it to be over because no matter what, I think with him, even if he wins, he's not going to be able to do 8 years. He's just not, right? Like, we're seeing the beginning of the end of his political career, in my personal opinion.
He's got 4 years,
and I can't wait for that to start. And I can't wait for that to start. In just like kind of getting rid of the tension. I know it's not going to go away with how we, the divide in America and all that, but just having like it over has to help. It has to get rid of some of it. And I'm just tired of I truly do. I want to take down the political signs that are in my yard. The minute like the votes are done, like, I mean, honestly, on November 5th, the evening of November 5th, those signs come down and they're done, right? Like that's I'm ready for that, to not have to just focus on it consistently, like day after day after day after day. Are you guys the same?
I fucking hate it to the nth degree. Like, yes, I am more of a Democrat than a Republican. I probably always will be, but I think it's all a big trash heap, and I am more disillusioned with politics than I've ever been in my life, man.
And that's fair. I think we all are, and I think we're ready for a break. If nothing else, we're ready for a break of just being bombarded by the advertisements, the signs, the text messages, the voicemails.
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, you've been getting them too, then, huh?
I get rated. None of them are actually directed at me.
Not like me,
Tyler
like, hey,
Witcher.
Owen, it's Tim Waltz. Like I get those.
Well, no,
you said last week there was somebody
all...
from like another, like it was somebody else's name. They like had your
That's
number.
What I'm saying. Yeah. So every fucking year for close to a decade, I get a ton of election texts for somebody named Cyrus from Georgia. Like. Don't ask me how that happened or why that happened.
Cyrus, you still voting for the KKK party?
Man, it's like nonstop bullshit. There's a few I get for Tabitha, which I wonder if she did that on purpose or not. But and I get one or two for some other random bullshit. What was? Oh man, it doesn't matter. But none of them are actually directed at me as a human. They're all different people,
right? Which doesn't make
you can't like get out of it, because if you do the stop thing, it gets worse. Or you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like there's no, even if you report it as junk, it gets worse. There's no winning.
I think we're all ready for it to be over. By the time we do our next show, it should be, and I'm sure we'll have plenty more to talk about it. That being said, I think it is time for us to take a break here at the Ono Radio Show. We will be back, though. Unless Mikey, you look like you had something you wanted to kind of interject. I'm sorry if I stepped on you there. Okay, right on. What we'll do in this case, then, I got a video I just want to play as we kind of like roll into break. I'll play some music and then I'll play this video and then we'll come back with the second segment. But it's from the former WWE superstar known as Mick Foley, or you might remember him as Mankind or Cactus Jack from back in the day. And he posted a few days ago his message to America and Donald Trump. I think that's a cool way that we might end this segment. In fact, why not? We'll just play it now. Let me go ahead and get that all set up for us. We'll play that. We'll do some tunes, and then we will come back with a little bit of Oh No 2.0 for you, where we've got clips and a bunch of other fun topics to discuss. Let me go ahead again. Let me pull up Mick Foley, because I think it's worth sharing. I think he's got an interesting viewpoint on this, and he is one of those, like, there's not many wrestlers anymore that are good people. But if I know anything about Mick Foley, he's actually a good human. So, again, we're going to play this. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back with more Ono Radio Show, a little 2.0 for you. And what do we say when we get out of here for the first segment, boys? Fuck your dreams.
So, Mick, you wanted to talk about the election?
Yeah, I think it's really important to talk about the election. I think it's important for everyone to have a moment where enough's enough. I mean, for me, enough was enough 8 years ago. The Undertaker is correct in saying Donald Trump made politics fun again.
You've made politics fun again.
For about 3 weeks in 2016. But it's 8 years later, and there's absolutely nothing fun about this man. To me, there's nothing fun about a man who could be the next president of the United States talking about the enemy within, making it clear that this was not a mistake. This is his go-to line, the enemy within, the enemy within, the enemy within.
It's the enemy from within.
The enemy from within. I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in.
Which he co-opted from Senator Joseph McCarthy, one of the worst people to ever grace our planet. What frustrates me the most is that so many good, hardworking American people cannot see through such an obvious con man who is only out for himself. The idea that the working man thinks this guy is behind them has obviously not looked into his past. I know people work hard. They don't always have time to go home and do their research. But instead of tuning into your favorite news station of choice, look up the data. See how many times Donald Trump has failed to pay his contractors and workers over the last 30 years. It's in the hundreds. He claims it's because they didn't do good work. This coming from a guy who claims he only hires the best people. I claim he's screwing over the working man. Kevin Nash today told me a story about going into the venue that used to be the Taj Mahal, mentioning Trump's name and seeing the bartender roll his eyes. And the bartender told a story about his father was an electrical contractor, worked hard his whole life to build up that business. And then when Trump did not pay him for the work he did in the Taj Mahal, and the man was unable to fight it because he didn't have the resources to fight it. Trump knows that the people, honest, hardworking contractors, don't have the resources to fight him in court. And he bankrupts them. Their dreams disappear. That's not standing up for the working man. Words are cheap, and he lies almost every time he opens his mouth. But you know what he's not lying about? When he talks about coming after the enemy within. The enemy within. Who is that? It could be anyone. It could be me. An article came out today in NPR, October 22nd, 2024, with a study that showed Donald Trump had issued over 100 threats to people he perceived as his political rivals. He has threatened to impeach and prosecute Kamala Harris. He accused Barack Obama of treason. He said his chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, General Mark Milley, should be executed. He did nothing to stop what could have been the death of Mike Pence, his own vice president.
Crowd chants, hang Mike Pence. There's a hangman's noose outside.
And now he's gone so far as to say that anyone who criticizes the Supreme Court and other judges should be put in jail. So, Donald Trump, I'd like to talk directly to you. Are you going to put me in jail for criticizing your Supreme Court? Because I think Clarence Thomas is a disgrace to the Supreme Court. I think Samuel Alito is a horrible person who doesn't belong on the highest court in the land. I don't think Brett Kavanaugh's interview in front of the Senate would have landed him a job as a dishwasher, let alone serving in the Supreme Court for life. I mean, I'm so scared that I was thinking about calling you a douchebag in this interview. And then I thought, that's a pretty strong word. Trump might come after me. And I made the decision not to call you a douchebag, even though you are one. Vote for Kamala Harris.
And yes, welcome to your second dose of Oh No for the week. This is Oh No 2.0, and we are back with more Oh No radio show. It's myself, Owen, your captain of your shit shit. Mikey's here, Ty's here.
Hey.
Yeah. And did want to bring up that I'm sure people are, sick and tired of hearing, oh yeah, Owen, you had another corporate work gig where you're doing the AVs and all that sort of thing, and I'm sure people are tired of hearing it. But I did discover a couple of new things. It's not like I really discovered it this week, but what is so interesting is like some of these hotels that we have to work in, like they're like corporate ballroom type scenarios, right? And
please don't forget I did this for a long time.
Yeah, you did it too. Not as much as me.
Actually, probably more. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. But what is so interesting is so many of these hotels have like such strict hotel security. You ever run into this, Ty? Oh my God. It's like,
I got a presidential fucking pin for one of them.
What?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I don't even know what does that mean?
The Trump rally once. That shit was wild.
Oh yeah, you shot the Trump rally. Don't say that too loud. Don't.
You shouldn't say it
Ty,
that
OG
way.
shooter.
Yeah.
But dude, but they are, but they can be like, oh man, they try and lock all the doors. They try and keep you, and it becomes a pain in the ass because all you're trying to do is get to work, Mikey. That's all you're trying to do. Like I'm just trying to do my job here. I'm trying to get to work. But I've learned realistically, if you go into any of these hotel places and you wear a black shirt, you can get anywhere you want, no problem. And then all you got to do is like with parking, you want free parking at a hotel, just be like, you're part of the AV crew. And they'll just
AV coming through.
Yeah, they just let you in. That's something I've just discovered. Like over these years, I'm just like, oh wow, they try and put up the facade of being like super secure and all the hotel security and everything, but really, if you're just in a black polo, you can do whatever you want. You can go wherever you want. You just like find yourself willy-nilly up and down these hallways. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's and I think that's something interesting that most people would never really consider especially if they're staying at like this 5-star luxury hotel. You think that that's like going to be locked off from the public, right? Like that no vagrant's going to be able to randomly just kind of roll up in there. I'm telling you, all of the vagrants are rolling up in there. There's a lot of vagrants behind the scenes at the hotel. Ty, you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, kind of, but I don't know, man. I dealt with a lot of different security. You usually had to have like a badge of some sort.
Not anymore.
No.
Apparently all badges. A nice wave by. That's a badge.
I was supposed to get a badge every day. I didn't get the badge. I didn't get the badge. I just walked in. I just did my job. I walked in and I always had to find a different like door that was open. Like, one of them will be open. And sure enough, one of them's always open. That's another secret trick. You just got to check all the doors. One of them's usually open.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So, last week I remember I told you I had this gig and I had to record a bunch of my own voiceovers for the gig. This time, like, oh, it's 5 minutes, like it's 2 minutes, and all those types of things, right? So I did. I recorded all those, played them on last week's show. So a day before the gig, I get a big file in my email. Here's all the voiceovers you need for the show. So I didn't get to use any of my own personal voiceovers. Like they had them. They were still a pain in the ass because like they sent me as like the wrong like a stupid file type, and then it was all like one long like recording of all the individual ones instead of all like, so I had to chop them all up, right?
Why would they send it that way? That's
I know
weird.
it was irritating for sure. So I did all that, and then of course, like the next day on the gig, they gave me a file that was an updated file with all of them chopped up all nice. After I had done the work, after I'd done all the work, not only had I recorded all my own ones, then they gave me the one, so I did the work twice, and then I had to do the work 3 times because they brought me the new ones. So I was a little
real rock and roll Owen should have played his own.
I was thinking about it, but no, they were specific on these or whatever. Fine. So you had asked me, Ty, last week, do you ever consider, doing it like with AI? Right? Like,
I mean, just for shits and giggles. Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes it works, not always.
I mean, I got a mic. It's honestly the AI thing. I could do that, but realistically, it's actually probably quicker for me to just sit here and record. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, blah 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 blah. Like it's probably just quicker for me to do it that way than than to get AI involved, right? So I didn't do that for this gig, but they supplied me with these voiceovers.
They did. They did it.
Well, that's just. I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you guys if you think this is or isn't AI. I don't have the answer, but I would like your opinion.
Text to voice motherfucking prompts now, where you can just type in
right.
what you want them to say. There it is.
Okay, so
yeah,
let's just start with to put it in perspective. Let's start. I think this one is mine. All right, so this is my 2 minutes. I played this last week, so okay, that's mine. Now, this is the 5-minute announcement. Tell me if you think this is AI or not AI. Again, I don't have the answer. So number one, I don't like the voice as much as mine. Doesn't sound as good as mine. I think it sounds shittier than mine sounded. I would have preferred mine over this one. I'll play it again. AI, not AI.
Difficult.
Got another one. I got another one. One more. AI, not AI.
I was leaning towards not AI on the first one, but after hearing all 3, I'm gonna say 80 to 85% leaning towards AI.
I'm kind of with you, Ty. I'm kind of with you. What about you, Mike? Same?
I don't know. There was just little bits, and I just don't know if AI does this yet to compensate, but there were just little bits of imperfection where I'm like, that can kind of go either way for me.
Yeah. No.
I'm gonna say real.
You're going real? You're going real? Okay. All right. Interesting. I don't know. Again, I don't have the answer. I don't know. I still think mine is better. Listen to that. That sounds so much better than
sounds so manly and full of authority.
Yeah.
The other one, I'm kind of just thinking like, she says 5 minutes, but if I show up in 7, nobody's gonna yell at me.
Yeah. No authority, no real just like commanding presence,
Yeah, it sounds so sweet. It's almost just like a suggestion, like we might start in 5 minutes. I don't know. Maybe we'll see how we're feeling then.
So the gig went well, by the way. It was a successful gig. Another nice paycheck for myself. Pretty happy about that. Been a good month. But the loadout was an interesting one because we had a ton of semi trucks trying to get into the same dock space, So like
dog.
Like they were
I need them semis.
Well, yeah, there's ours was a 52-foot semi that we had to load. But we had like 3 that were like there for other purposes that were in front of us. So we had to get them to move. And we had to like, I went into dickhead mode. I mean, that's the best way to put it. Cause like all my shit's packed up. Everything in that room is ready to go. It's in its boxes. It just needs to get on this truck. This little guy comes up. Oh no, we'll only be, oh no, we're just going to sneak in real quick and use the dock. For 30 minutes. That's all we need. I'm like, nope, no, you're not. I was like, listen, I need to get out of this ballroom. I'm done. It's time. Like, and I was just like, you are not parking there. I will make sure you don't park there. And in fact, I have this dock, basically reserved, for the next hour and a half. So you can quite politely get fucked, like get the fuck out of here. I don't care if like it's going to take you only 20 minutes to unload your shit. Nope, you're pulling away.
Peace.
I like that Owen says he went to dick mode. I'm like, Owen, so I feel like you live kind of almost dickhead mode adjacent. Or like the switch is kind of half flipped already.
I mean, yeah, but it went further in. You know what I mean? Like it's like
you gave it a full flip.
Yeah. And I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't have the thing reserved for the next hour and a half. I just told him that I did.
That shit is supposed to be scheduled though. That's how it is.
And
I got your time.
I got my crew out. We did our job, and we went on our way because fuck that guy. That's is that a bad thing? I don't think that's a bad thing to do. You think?
I don't know if it's a good thing. I'm not going to say it's a bad thing, but I don't think that by it immediately not being a bad thing that it was a good one. I'm saying I'm glad you got your shit out of there on your timeline and you didn't let some other guy do his job, so he could probably get back to his kids who probably all have cancer. Because I mean, he's gone all the time.
They might have died because he took an extra couple hours.
It's not my problem. It's not my problem. I mean, here's the thing. If I let the one guy in, then I gotta like let the next guy in. Like I was straight up standing like in between the dock and the truck. Like, nope.
God damn it, Owen.
You are not. You're not. You're not.
Now you're every Asian lady standing in a parking spot.
Yeah.
At a fucking mall.
Well, I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get the job done. And that's why you hire me right there. That's why I hire.
It's not like you guys were on an hourly rate. You're all paid by the day.
Yeah, I want to get the fuck out of there. That's exactly why I'm trying to get the fuck out of there earlier, because I'm getting paid the same if it's another hour or half an hour, right? Like I want to get out of there quicker.
Yeah.
So I think I did it right. I think I did. Everybody was all cheering. They were like, Owen. Like it was...
Well, you know what? If we're gonna talk about people yelling at other people, guys, I think work has finally I told you guys I did have like a really big, really long work week this week.
Yeah.
And I just today like got out of my I'm so tired like coma that I was in, but I'm still a little didn't do anything for Halloween because I was tired, so I'm extra grumpy. Today was kind of just like a lazy day, so I never really got started. But I had to go get weed and then pick up something for dinner. So I thought like, I'm in a good spirit. Like I got weed. I'm at the Publix. Just got a whole chicken.
Yeah, dog.
A
little bit of their
what'd you get? A mojo, a lemon pepper?
The mojo.
Mojo was good.
They had original lemon pepper and mojo, and I was like, ooh, there's only one mojo left. The mojos must be damn good right now. Let's get a mojo.
Fair.
Little bit of southern potato salad, and I'm upset because they didn't have the baked beans I like. They make regular ones, but they also make smokehouse baked beans, which are infinitely better. Okay. Guys, just a little heads up from a guy who eats a lot of baked beans. Publix has 2 varieties, and the smokehouse is the better.
All right.
So, I hit up the deli, I get my chicken, I get my little sides, I stop on the way back to the register. They got some really good deals in the little buy one, get one cubbies that they have. They had rice side dishes, buy one, get one free. So I got a couple of those. So I'm generally in a pretty okay mood. Like things at Publix went really well.
You got your weed. You already done that part. Like all you gotta do now is get your food and go home type scenario.
Yeah, and then wait, and then basically hang out, smoke, and wait to do the show.
It's gonna be a nice afternoon. Yeah,
should have been nice couple hours. Been a real nice time.
What?
So I get to the I look. It's kind of busy at my Publix right now. So I get in the self-service line. And there's a woman standing to my left, maybe about 3-4 feet off, like forward and to the left of me. But she's waiting in an actual regular line. And she sees. I'm getting worked up right now.
You're getting flustered.
Oh,
I can tell you're getting flustered.
This woman sees a self-checkout register open up. Oh. Yeah.
Box squad!
Oh.
Box squad! Box squad! Box squad! Box squad!
So, I'm standing there, just doing my thing, and this woman sees the lane open, and as I go to take a step to advance towards the now open lane, she pushes her cart out in front of me and just acts like she's just gonna waltz right into the open lane. I'm like, 1, you're in a different fucking line. 2,
wait a minute. So she's changing lanes and expects you to let her in, even though you're in line.
Yeah. And dude, there's there's 2 to 3 people there. I think there's either 2 or 3 people behind me. I can't tell if they're all coupled together, but there are people behind me too. I'm just the head of the line waiting for my next spot.
She's a butter. She's a line butter. She's a cutter.
A line cutter.
Yeah.
No cuts, no butts, no coconuts. That's
you throw the mojo chicken at her. Throw the whole chicken.
Guys, without really even thinking, I immediately it's like before I can even stop myself, words are just coming out of my mouth.
Oh.
And I'm like, hey.
I suffer from this, by the way. I don't know if you've ever noticed with me on the show or just in general in life. I suffer from the lack of filter, and I regret it a lot.
I think so. I think sometimes that the wire that plugs into your filter, you just get so frazzled that the little guys in your brain go, you know what? I'm not doing it today. And they plug it just live and into the live feed.
Yes.
They're like, you know what? I'm taking a break. No more filter. Plug it right into the live feed. Let's
audio
go.
guys will know this. You go pre-fader with that thing, not post. And
yeah. And you're just going on pure instincts at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so, without really even catching myself, I'm like, hey, are we just cutting the whole fucking line here? And I may have said it just a little too loud for Publix, because I did get two of the other people at the self-checkout registers were like, huh?
Oh shit!
And I got the attendant who guesses manning all 5 of these self-checkout registers.
Poor bastard.
She gives me the look like, whoa.
Yep.
And so the lady looks to me, and I give her the old gracefully show her that there's a whole line of people here waiting to get to the self-checkouts.
And here's the thing too, Mikey, in this situation, you've got to do something, because first off, the Publix employee ain't going to do shit. They're just going to kind of let the easiest thing happen. They're not going to start any confrontation. So
they'll assume because you didn't make a fuss, you don't care. Exactly. And it's not a big deal.
I think that you had to make the fuss that you made. And I support. I'm in support of this situation.
So, I'm like, hey, are we just ignoring the whole fucking line here?
Yep.
And she turns to me and like sees that there's a whole big ass line and gives me like the dirtiest fucking look.
Fuck you.
Oh.
Give
You're
me
the
a
best
dirty
dude.
look. I'll give you the dirty look.
Oh, I just gave her like the wide eyed, like, what? Like,
This
you're the
is
one
how
in the wrong
lines,
here,
this
lady.
is how lines work.
And I kind of like from the extension, like brought it back and then just like re-extended out to like, if you want to come through to the self-checkout, go to the back of the line. And I then just like stepped in front of her cart and just was like as close as I could without like, just.
Oh no,
like,
I would have hip checked it. I would have hip checked it. I would have.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it. But I cut like as close as I could in a petty attempt to be like, yeah, why don't you fucking wait or stay in your own lane?
Sometimes you've got to shame these people. This is me on the airplane with the guy that's running from the back, trying to get in front of everyone as soon as the plane lands. This is me. Like I do this. This is something that I've been talking about for the last few years now. We need to shame people more. We need to shame. You're being rude. Do what everyone else in the world does and get in the queue. And as a Brit, we're famous for our queues. We like a good queue.
Yeah.
We're good at queues. That's the
And
one.
then,
That's one thing we are famous for is queues. And if you're not gonna play the queue game, if you're just deciding
by the rule
if
line?
you're not gonna abide by the rules, then I'm sorry. We have a reason to shame.
I do wish that I kind of. There's part of me, you think about everything after the fact. There's part of me that would have just wished I could have called out to the people of public, like, oh, hey, everyone, hold on a second. This lady needs to get to the self-checkout, and then been like,
She's
please,
more
ma'am.
important than us, everybody. Let's make sure. Yeah. Oh, you make a big deal of it. And you do actually let her go.
Oh, yeah.
But now
no,
she
then I'm
feels
forceful about it. I'm like, no, please, queen, please.
Yeah.
Take your rightful spot as the next person in line. None of us matter. And, get down on your hands and knees, be like, please, I'm so graceful to let you have my spot in line. I'm so blessed that you could cut me and only me. Thank you.
I'm with you on this, Mike. I don't think, I understand that you're probably getting stressed at work and that probably accentuated your aggression towards the situation. But realistically, I don't think you were being at all sort of unfair. What would you have done on a regular day if you're cool, calm? You would just let it slide? You just let it slide?
Oh, I think if I would have been properly like stoned up or even a little drunk,
Yeah, a little tipsy.
I probably would have said nothing. I probably would have just
and
been
that's
like,
part of the problem is these people have gotten away with nobody saying nothing. And they will walk all over you. That's why you do have to do things like you just did and put them in their goddamn place.
yeah, it definitely did feel uncomfortable, like in the moment, like raising my voice to a level where like other people were like, oh shit, somebody's raising their voice.
When I get like that way, when it's like as much as, I play the gimmick, I don't really like public confrontations. Do you get like that kind of like, ooh, that anxiety feeling and like
it makes me feel awful. Like
I will start shaking sometimes, like because I get so like wound up and I'm just like, oh, I'm just like I get wound up and I start like like visually like shaking because I'm like that fucking angry about it and like that like worked up, especially when somebody like fires back. Too, it's just like, oh no, now we're going, are we? Now we're doing the thing. All right, let's fucking go. But I still get like, that like anxious, like kind of nervous energy type thing.
Well, I did feel like it was when she gave me that real dirty look. It was kind of like she's trying to stare me down right now and be like, "Who the hell are you calling me out?" And when I think I had to make that split decision to like reinforce with like give her the dump, like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole damn line back here that you just want to ignore. Like, be a little more, and had I been more professional about it, would just been like, hey, look, come on, like, be more aware. Like, you're not even looking behind you to see if there's a line. You're just taking your steps in. Like, come on.
That is the problem, though. If you would have approached it from that standpoint of like, hey, there's a line or whatever, I don't think she would have gotten the point. Like, I do think sometimes you need to throw that like aggressive, negative energy back at them because they know what the fuck they're doing. Like, these people, I don't think, like, there are some, obviously, that are just so aloof and dumb that
Actually, I bet she was oblivious and would just tried to save face by not looking like a dumbass.
No, I don't think so in this case. I think that she knew exactly what she was doing and was trying to skip the line. And no matter what, it doesn't even really matter, oblivious or not. Ignorance isn't bliss. Get the fuck to the back of the line. Like, there's societal rules here about this shit.
Or, and this, I know this sounds like a crazy concept. When people call you out, like, even if it's just a mistake, even giving her grace, even if this is just a mistake, go, oh, hey,
my bad.
Listen, my bad.
Oh, yeah.
But to immediately turn around, and again, it's probably an equal reaction to me getting real hot and being like, hey, there's a fucking line here.
Right. She was matching your energy, right? That probably started. If you would have done it a little nicer, then she maybe would have done that. But she was matching your energy, and therefore, it's going to turn into a negative situation.
Yeah. And again, that's probably why I don't react like this in most situations. Because I
always react like
this. I have so much anxiety about him. Like, man, if you come into if in the like 5 seconds lead up to any of these like confrontation situations, my brain has run every scenario that's like, man, if you get loud, they're probably just going to hit you. If this hadn't been like just like a shorter, smaller woman, if this had been like a dude, I probably, again,
it would have been a
shut
fight.
my mouth.
Yeah, it would have been a fight. Yeah.
Because my immediate thought was, dude, if I say something to this dude, there's a likelihood that he could just spin right around and just punch me.
So a couple things. You will still probably, like, hopefully you won't, because now you've got it out on the show. But like, this is the type of thing that if I was in that situation, I will then like wake up in the middle of the night and think about it, and it will annoy me, right? Like, it will be that sort of like, that like I've had that before.
Why didn't I take this bag of mojo chicken and just whomp this lady? In the mouth?
All the things, like you kind of even said it. Like, if I wish I would have said this, right? Like, you have like the alternative in your brain of what you should have done, what you should have said, how to properly shame this person. I will go through those emotions, but I will also, kind of like what you were saying, I will try my luck sometimes, because I'm all about like forgiveness than permission sometimes on things. So I will try my luck at the same type of thing, but I will be like, oh, my bad, I got caught. I'll go back to the back of the line. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't even blame the person for trying. It's how like she acts. Like, I like reacts to it. It's like, but you got me, my man. Like, then you go about your day and you do it. I do like a good trying to get away with a sneaky thing, for sure. But don't, like, when you get caught, don't be acting like gaslight the other person that's their fault. Like, don't do that.
I also think that I applied just the proper amount of aggression and kind of verbal force to the situation. Because I think if I had blown past and been like, hey, you dumb fat cunt, there's a fucking line over here. Why don't you roll your jelly ass back to the back of it? I think at that point, when people blow too hard, now Publix is like, hey, dude,
we're a Publix.
Get the fuck, like, get the fuck out.
Here. Yeah.
Like, that's totally uncalled for. I think the one little aggressive fuck that I put in the sentence was just warranted enough. You know how we were talking about making calculations. I think my brain did all the math and was like, this is just enough. You're just tall enough. You're just large enough that this is the proper amount of force to apply to this situation. To not get thrown out of public.
I think I agree with everything that you're saying right there. I think that you're pretty dead on with it. I'm sorry you went through that. You know what I think it might be.
Is it time to bring forth the clip?
No.
Collapse.
Yep, Clips is the time of the show where I introduce you to all the random stuff that I find on the internet. I pulled a lot of clips this week. I don't know if we're gonna get to all of them, but it's fine. We can always do clips, some of these on a later date. How about though we start with this one? We've been doing a fair amount of nostalgia talk on the first, portion of today's show. Go back and listen to that on your podcast feeds. But do you remember the Ghostbusters cartoon, guys? Do you remember that?
Yeah, dog.
Yeah. And since it's kind of Halloweeny and stuff, I pulled a clip because I thought it was pretty interesting. I never realized they had a whole episode with Cthulhu.
Fuck yeah.
You guys remember Cthulhu? You know who Cthulhu is, right?
The dark ancient one?
Yeah. He's he's a big bad bastard that lives in the sea and shit, right?
Although, Owen, I'd really like you to stop bastardizing his name. It's Cthulhu.
No, it's Cthulhu.
No, get it. Jeez. You're going to invite him out here to... He's going to fuck things up, bro.
No, it's a Thu. It's a Thu. It's Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
No, whatever. I don't know if I abide by that. But apparently the Ghostbusters, they fought him back in the day? Cthulhu, the Ghostbusters cartoon, they fought him.
What?
Yeah. So the name of the episode is...
Oh, they fucked up the spelling, too.
Yeah, they did fuck up the spelling.
They did it all phonetically.
Yeah.
Cthulhu.
Well,
it's actually Cthulhu.
Yeah. Yeah,
Cthulhu.
It's like three ways bad somehow.
The collect call?
The collect call of Cthulhu.
Is that like a prison?
I don't know. So, obviously shit's going down, in the Ghostbusters world, and they're like, oh, man, fucking Cthulhu is here or whatever.
This fucking metal.
We
I love it.
We gotta take care of it. So I pulled the whole episode. I can't play the whole episode, but I will play
Cartoon
you.
Egon was fucking a heartthrob.
Dude, he was.
He had the sickest pomp.
Dude, yeah.
If you want, we can send you to the moon.
Yeah, he was a good-looking dude. Look at him.
We have to.
Bro, he rocked pomp and wavy rat tail.
So
this dude was making a lot of very daring hair choices.
Yeah.
I mean, in a time that was fraught with daring hair choices.
That is true. That is true. I will say though that the voice actor for him, it's the one that cracks me up the most is the voice actor that does what's his name? That's Bill Murray's character.
Fucking
I can't remember his
Spangler.
name. Yeah. So he's in this, right? But it's such an obvious Bill Murray knockoff, you know what I mean? That does his voice. I'm trying to find some of it here in a second, but I fast forwarded towards the third act of the cartoon here. And this is right. I think this is right as they start to go battle Cthulhu. But check out how fucking metal this is, dude. That way. All right, so they're using their ghost tracking devices to go find the Cthulhu. Oh, scary ocean. A lot of storms. Oh, and in this
How
episode,
did these assholes get a hold of the Necronomicon?
yeah. So like they have the Necronomicon, this huge book. They're like praising. There's a whole thing that they're praising Cthulhu.
They're not even reading from it.
But there's like a whole. They're like a cult that's all about the Cthulhu.
The Cult of Cthulhu, yeah.
Yeah. So here they are.
Do they got some sick headdresses?
Yeah,
though?
they
Those
do.
are fucking crazy cool.
I know, right? Like this cult, I might join it. He's coming from the sea, like the cult leader. He's like calling him out of the ocean, like with his dark book of Necronomicon, and you got the Ghostbusters running up, being like, "No, don't do that." But then, like, the ocean is starting to get a little crazy here. He might come out. Oh fuck!
Oh no! I think we're too late. What gave you the first clue?
Look at Cthulhu.
What gave you the first
Look at
clue?
this! Look at this motherfucker! There
That's
he is.
not Cthulhu.
That's him, dude.
I mean, maybe a little.
I mean, it's pretty Cthulhu-y. What else do you want?
Why would you summon him and then run away?
Yeah, well, they summoned him, and he's like, "I'm gonna fucking stomp your asses."
Full stream now!
Full stream.
So the Ghostbusters blast him with their whatever those are. The
Proton
pack.
packs?
Yeah. They blast him with that, and they're like, "Oh shit, we pissed him off."
We're in serious trouble.
There's one thing left to try.
Alice!
Stop.
Itaka
What?
Botura Nodens! Itaka Botura Nodens!
What?
I think she, like, the friend of the Ghostbusters, this chick Alice, don't know who she is, don't remember her, but apparently she's like got a spell or something.
Itaka Botura Nodens! Itaka Botura Nodens!
Oh, he said, hell no.
Aim for the head.
Nobody's
Maybe we can-
banishing me.
There we go. That was the Bill Murray guy. Let me rewind it so you can hear him real quick. This is the guy that's supposed to be Bill Murray's character, sound like Bill Murray. I just think it's funny. After she
Alice!
gets her speech done here. Sorry, I had to rewind too much.
Itaka Botura Nodens! Itaka Botura Nodens! Itaka Botura Nodens! Itaka Botura Nodens!
Aim for the head. Maybe we can blind them.
Did you hear him?
I mean, yeah.
No.
Right.
Uh-oh. I think we made him mad. Run for it!
Run for it.
This cartoon's pretty dope though, right? Like they're
Yeah.
fighting like
Sometimes I really regret answering that ad you guys ran. Egon, what do you...
oh, here's Bill Murray again. Or fake Bill Murray. Here we go.
Really regret answering that ad you guys ran. Egon, what do you got? His power is completely off the scale. None of our equipment can even begin to stop him. We don't have a prayer. You're such a Pollyanna, Egon.
He's snarky, you know. Like,
Hey, the
He's
story
trying
in
to be a little Murray.
it's just not a good Murray.
the magazine.
Right, I forgot about it. Great. He moves his lips when he reads.
Aha! It says here that they lured Cthulhu to an electrical plant and blasted him with 100 gigavolts of electricity.
So, did it work?
I don't know. The last page is missing.
Is gigavolts
Where
a
do we
real
get that kind of
measurement?
power?
I
There's
don't
one
think so.
chance. If we can lure him near the roller coaster, we can use our particle beams to ionize the metal superstructure. That might attract a lightning bolt.
It's worth a try.
But how do we get Cthulhu near the roller coaster?
I've got an idea. A very crazy idea.
There's Bill Murray again with his crazy idea. This show kind of fucking rules.
Okay, Squidface. I'm gonna make calamari out of you.
There's Bill Murray with his jokes. Riding the roller coaster, blasting them.
To be fair, Cthulhu was just kind of like standing and flailing for a while.
Yeah, he probably could have knocked them all out.
Peter!
Peter Venkman, that's his name.
Boy, talk about an e-ticket.
Spangler.
Nope, not even close, Ty.
Spangler.
Nope, you weren't close.
Now!
More power! If he breaks free before the lightning strikes.
Oh, he got it. Did you kill him?
They fucked him up, bro.
Oh, Egon Spangler. Why am I spangling fucking Venkman? I
Well,
spangled all the wrong
we-
Spanglers.
You know how the story ended?
Yeah, and somebody wants to talk to us about it.
Now all the cult people are mad because they killed their god.
But they're gonna get arrested.
Yeah.
Better late
Bitches.
than never.
There you go, Ty. Those are your people. They're all getting arrested right now.
Yeah, but Ty just wanted the cool, sweet
I know, right?
Octo robe,
He
Cthulhu
did.
robe.
Yeah, it's all he wanted.
Clark Ashton. Well, you can't trust anybody.
Oh, that motherfucker?
Close! You may
I
have
went to
won
high
this
school with
time,
Clark
but
Ashton.
Cthulhu cannot be destroyed. He waits and dreams in the deep, and the cities of man shall fall before him.
Yeah, sure. Book 'em, boys.
Pretty dope episode, though, right?
Yeah, except for he's out here commanding the police around like he's a real fucking person and not just a ghostbuster.
Well, I thought you'd find that.
It was hilarious. I
good.
loved it.
Good.
Okay. Moving on. This is Carolyn Konstnar with her Lonely Halloween song.
Oh my god, it's Halloween. Wish I had a friend with me. Every year I'm all alone. I have no reason to leave my home. Bought a costume that's really funny, but why dress up if I have nobody? Lonely Halloween. It's a lonely Halloween. Lonely Halloween. No one hears me scream. I want to throw a house party and stay out super late. But instead, I guess I'll just get drunk and monster masturbate. Trick or treat, treat or trick. Wish a vampire would suck my blood. Ghouls and ghosts don't scare me, cause there's nothing worse than being lonely. This is it, spooky time. I'll wait all night and start to cry. Why does God punish me? I suffer each day, I live and breathe. Lonely Halloween, it's a lonely Halloween. Lonely Halloween. Someone put an end to me. Please end my suffering. I said, please end my suffering. Please end my suffering.
There you go. That was Lonely Halloween. I thought that would relate to you,
I
Ty.
like that.
I love her.
Yeah, it is.
Monster masturbate was probably the best thing in that whole fun bit, but yeah, she's great.
We'll move on here a little bit.
Only Halloween.
So, you know how I've been
She
saying.
also looks like Garfunkel. Kind of.
You know how I've been saying how fish aren't animals, guys.
You've been saying it.
Well,
you keep saying it.
Well, what if humans were fish? This is a clip called "Humans Might Be Fish."
Thanks to the Monterey Bay Aquarium for partnering with us on this episode of SciShow. They hope you will find it finteresting.
See what they did there? Finteresting.
You're already wearing my patience thin.
There's this funny story about beavers. In the 1700s, a Canadian bishop asked the Catholic Church if it was okay to eat beaver during Lent.
I like that. We're not going to play the whole thing about the humans might be fish, but I do like this. So yeah, you know how like Catholic people don't eat meat on Lent or whatever, so they can eat fish. So yeah, beavers.
A period of time when Catholics abstained from eating meat. But eating fish was okay. And look, beavers spend so much time in the water that they should totally count. And remarkably, the church agreed. Beavers, at least as far as it mattered during Lent, were fish.
See guys, beavers are fish. So if beavers are fish, okay? Beavers are fish, so all rules are off. All bets are off. Like, come on, beavers are fish.
Well, in most cases, people would probably say that beavers obviously should not count as fish. They have fur and live babies and breathe air, for instance. As for what science says, oh boy. See, the thing is, the answer is surprisingly complicated because beavers are not fish, but that might be because either we're all fish or fish kind of don't exist.
Don't do this, Owen. Don't do this. You're pulling on a sweater string that is the fabric of reality right now, man.
They might not exist.
In the end, this is going to be a story about different ways of grouping animals together, why we use language the way that we do, and how evolution has made things kind of funny. For a long time, people grouped animals together by some common body plan or lifestyle, like fish, reptile, or bird. This is good because it means we can talk about
all
many
animals.
different organisms at once without needing to name each one individually. This lets us make useful general statements like, it's fish tacos for lunch today. And this is generally how science worked too. But over the years, as we learned more about evolution, it became clear that this old way of talking wouldn't work as well. There were too many exceptions, too many groups of things that seemed similar but weren't when you looked under the hood. Instead, we developed a new, more scientific way of grouping animals together called cladistics. In this approach, we sort living things into groups, or clades, that reflect their evolutionary history and how closely related they are. There's a couple of different ways to do this precisely, but a good example might be to say that rather than trying to define primates by things like opposable thumbs or big brains, instead, we would say the group of animals known as primates includes all species that are descended from the most recent common ancestor of humans, apes, and lemurs. That's a bit of a mouthful, but defining things this way is actually really useful for biologists. It gives us a way to make predictions, for instance. Like if two different species are grouped very closely together, we can predict that their genomes must be relatively similar. This runs into funny situations, though, like, again, the question of whether beavers should count as fish.
Beavers are fish. Beavers are fish.
Let's take, for example, the evolutionary history of a very definitely a fish, like a goldfish. Its early ancestors were some of the first vertebrates. Unlike their close, more worm-like cousins lancelets, they had a backbone, which let them swim more powerfully. As time went on, this group split. Some, which would become the ancestors of hagfish and lamprey, stayed roughly how...
Can we just comment on the name hagfish for a while? Like...
Man, they got really kind of fucked.
They
too.
did, right? You're a hagfish.
They're like, God, this fish is ugly.
Oh, what a hagfish.
Well, they were, but the group that led to goldfish would go on to develop powerful jaws. Over time, more groups split off as more characteristics evolved. Sharks and rays split off, while the goldfish's ancestors got bony skeletons. In another split, lobe-finned fishes diverged. These are the ancestors of fish with thick, fleshy, paired fins for limbs, like coelacanths and lungfish. Meanwhile, our goldfish's ancestors went on to develop fins made of bony spines connected by skin. Eventually, we arrive at today and the familiar goldfish. So far, so good, and everything we mentioned so far would be in the category of what most people would call a fish. But it turns out, the beaver's evolutionary story is largely the same. Beavers share the same vertebrate ancestor as goldfish, and their ancestors also watched hagfish and sharks split off.
Nope.
So, yep.
Nope. Beavers aren't fish.
Beavers are fish, bro. I'm telling you. I got the science.
Let him finish what he's saying, because I think he's gonna get to the point where we're all fish.
I mean, I got the video from the Science Channel, and it says that beavers are fish.
As lobed-finned fish split off, some of them, a group called tetrapods, used their fleshy limbs to haul themselves onto land, eventually giving rise to early mammals, and eventually to our beaver friends. And of course, we humans are in there too, in the tetrapod group, along with every other tetrapod, like frogs and alligators, snakes, birds, and horses. If you zoom out...
So you're a fish.
The tetrapod branch is just one nestled among a bunch of different fishy clades. So back to the question, are beavers fish? Remember that in the cladistic approach, for a definition to be useful, we want to include everything that is descended from a common ancestor so that we can make predictions about who is related to whom on an evolutionary scale. So this means that if we want to be able to say that sharks, hagfish, and goldfish are all fish, we kind of have three options. One, animals like humans and beavers are fish. Two, you have to carve out some ridiculous definition.
How much more proof do you need? I mean, I gave you the video, I gave you the science, humans, fish.
Like, fish would be any organism that is descended from the most recent common ancestor of both hagfish and goldfish, except for the subset of that group that is descended from the most recent common ancestor of frogs and beavers, which is awkward, but it also kind of defeats the purpose of cladistics. Or three, fish, as a scientific category, don't exist.
Boom. Boom.
I like number 3.
Boom. There ain't. That means they're not animals.
No, but they're no.
That
he
means
just said
that means
they're not fish.
no. That means they're not animals.
I know.
No.
He said option 3 is
no,
that fish don't exist.
No, bro. No. If they don't exist, they can't be animals.
No, they don't exist as fish
So,
anymore.
in
they
the end,
exist now
are
as
we
animals.
fish? Well, we are all vertebrates, and there are smaller categories like ray-finned fish or sharks and rays, but there is no single fish category in the cladistic approach. If that sounds like scientists being unnecessarily pedantic, they do it for a reason. Despite the foibles, the cladistic approach has been a huge success. It helps scientists talk about the evolution of life on Earth in a way that makes sense. And if there are some weird edge cases, it's not the fault of the system, but an opportunity to marvel at the history of life on Earth. And it also means that we use language in different ways based on what is useful for that conversation. That means it's still okay to call a fish, and if it's Lent, maybe even to include beavers in that category. Thanks again to the Monterey Bay.
So I was right all along. There's your evidence.
No.
Yep. 100%. I'm right. And there we go. That is case closed on how fish aren't animals. Yeah.
Boo. Boo, Owen.
Yeah.
Boo.
Somebody boo this man.
Okay.
If I were a trick-or-treater, I wouldn't go to your house.
Let's take a look at the past. Let's go back into the past, guys.
What's happening in the past?
Well, you know, I think people think of like Karens being a newer age phenomenon. But I'm here to tell you, I think Karens have always existed. Yeah. And this is a clip from the BBC in 1972. And it's about this guy that bought a house and encountered a Karen. Here we go.
Was it the HOA?
I think she thought she was the HOA before HOAs even were a thing. I think that's kind of.
I think Karens are kind of like a primordial force.
Yeah.
Karens have seen everything that ever was and will see everything that will ever be.
Yeah. This is just an interesting case study of that, and again, from 1972.
This is Melrose, a substantial Victorian villa in the village of Bacton-on-Sea on the east coast. It was bought 3 years ago by Mr. Max Jenkins, and since then he spent a lot of money improving it. For the £3,500 that he paid for it,
£3,500 he bought a house. Just let that sink in. 1972, right? And they say that was super cheap, but wow.
might think that he got something of a bargain. But there's one big snag. He can't look out of his window. The view that Mr. Jenkins should have of the sea is totally obscured by these boards just 3 feet from his window. And it's not only the ground floor window either, for at the top of the telegraph poles are more boards which block the...
What the? This is some bullshit.
This is some petty shit right here.
Is that his neighbor's yard?
Yes.
Yeah.
So please, Mikey, you're good at this. Please, for the listening audience, try and describe what I paused on just there.
Folks, what I'm about to describe to you is something I can only refer to as a petty device.
Petty device.
This is, it looks to be 2 wooden light poles, like 2 regular telephone poles that you've seen all around the world. And then at 2 strategic points, basically in front of this guy's first floor and second floor window, they have a cross between both of these light poles, just nailed boards.
So that no light, no view could be possible from those 2 particular windows of the house, the lower floor
Correct.
And the top floor.
This is a very Owen move.
Yes.
Like, if anybody did this, it's Owen.
Somebody pissed Owen off.
I might
and
be
he was
related.
like, oh yeah, you know what? Now you won't see the sea.
Yeah. He bought the house to
about
have
that?
this nice little view of the sea, and he's gonna try and rebuild the house. This neighbor's like, no, fuck you. You are not. I will put. So here's more of the story. Here we go.
light and the view from the upstairs window. And if you're wondering why on earth Mr. Jenkins doesn't remove the boards, well, the answer is that he can't, because they're not on his property. In fact, they're on land belonging to his next-door neighbor. And if you think that his next-door neighbor has every right to protect her privacy, well, of course she has. But she doesn't actually live here. Nobody lives here.
Yeah.
So think about that too. She's doing this to this guy and doesn't even live in the house.
She is a straight up Karen.
Fucking bitch.
And except for a few weeks in the year, this house is empty. The owner of the boards restricting Mr. Jenkins' view is Miss Day, who lives 20 miles away in Norwich, where she enjoys unrestricted views from her windows of her neighbours in Cecil Road. It seems that you're in the most extraordinary predicament here with these boards up outside your windows. How did you ever come to buy the house without realising it?
And I thought they were just a windbreak, to keep the east wind off the windows. And I thought to myself, well, once they get installed, I'll pull them down and that'll be that, But it didn't work quite like that, because I got up there one Saturday morning with a cold chisel and a hammer and started bashing, and away comes the local down the road, and he says, I should leave those alone if I was you. So I asked him why, and he said, well, this is governed by the law of ancient lights. So I thought, well, I better make inquiries. So I went to see the owner of the property, who happened to be there at the time, and she said, oh, no, you can't touch those. My father put them there in 1915, and there they're going to stay. So when I asked her why, she sort of waffled on about the law of ancient lights, but didn't seem...
The law of ancient lights.
Hold on.
What a bizarre thing, right? Like, so that's what they're claiming. And yeah, her father put them there in 1915.
Holy shit.
You found the law of ancient lights?
Yeah.
Give me some back history on this, please.
So, I mean, in short, it's basically the right of a landowner to receive light through their windows.
Wow.
It originated in 1663. And basically how it works is if a landowner has a window or an opening in their building for 20 years without interruption, they can prevent a neighbor from building something that blocks the light.
What?
Oh, yeah. So if this thing hadn't been there for so long, he could fight it and say, like, hey, take this piece of shit down. But I guess because it's been there for so long,
they're not allowed to.
Yeah, he's not allowed to say anything about it. So I'm assuming this house got built at some point and then was just left unoccupied, because that's the only way that you would have been able to.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Put this up and leave it up.
To really know what it was all about. So I approached the local council, Smallborough. And after 2 or 3 weeks of waiting and messing about, well, they came back and said they couldn't really do anything. I didn't really get anywhere at all. Then I went to my solicitor, and he sort of waffled on again about ancient lights and got a few books out and said, well, I'll come back to you when I found out more. But again, nothing happened. So in desperation in the end, I approached Ralph Howell, the local Conservative MP. And I must say he was most helpful. He came hearing over and said, well, this is absolutely ludicrous in this day and age. You know, it can't just be allowed to stay. I'll go and talk to Miss Day, and I'm sure she'll take them down if I appeal to her better nature.
By the way, this guy is great, right? Do we all kind of like this guy? I like this guy.
I feel for him definitely, because he bought a house by the seaside so he could look out on the sea. And then this old hag is just being a real.
He seems so polite and mild mannered. Like he's not trying to do anything.
He's actually raging. He's very well put together.
This is a controlled burn right now.
Half an hour later and said, you were dead right, Mr. Jenkins, over my dead body.
Considering that Miss Day doesn't even live here, surely with a little persuasion she would allow you to take these boards down, wouldn't she?
Oh, no, she was most adamant. Absolutely adamant about it, both to me and to Ralph Howell, the MP. Definitely must not come down in her lifetime.
And so I came to this.
Ooh, ultimate Karen. That's the way I look at that story.
Not in my lifetime, she said.
Yeah. Here's another one on the same line, kind of in the same vein, from 1971. That discusses window tax. So we were just talking about what was it called? The
right of ancient lights?
Yeah. I think this is kind of in the same vein of that. This was like this window tax they had in the UK. There's a little mini documentary about it. We won't watch the whole thing, but it'll give you
a room with a view. And what a view. What would you pay to have your back window looking out on a scene like that? Well, if you happen to live in Commercial Street, Scarborough, you could have it all for the very modest sum of just a few pennies a year. Mind you, it wouldn't be the view you'd be paying for. It would be the light to see it by and the air you'd breathe from it. Now, you may get your fresh air and daylight scot-free, but if you lived in Commercial Street, Scarborough, you'd get it by courtesy of British Rail. You see, that land out there belongs to British Rail, and they claim that the light and air which filters through these windows along this street comes directly off their property. And for the privilege of enjoying that light and air, they've been charging the residents on the street an annual fee for over 100 years. But if you think that's odd, what's even odder is...
Yes, I do think that's odd.
That's quite crazy.
That's absolutely fucking nuts, but a real thing that happened, you know? Like it wasn't like this absorbent amount, right? Like it was I guess they say it in this video. I want to say it's around 8 pounds, right? Like for the year or something. Even still, that's probably like $150 today, something like that, right? Like, or $100. Like, that's still a lot of money for them. You know, it might even be worth more than that inflation. I don't know. But in this impoverished town, they were, you know, it's kind of like an old Union town, I would think, right? Like that same sort of mentality in a weird way. But what a bizarre thing.
That the residents have actually been paying it, at least until recently, when British Rail decided to put up the fee from 1 shilling or 5 new pence to £1.
Yeah, so they had it super low, like a nothing, and then they raised it to £1, which that was a lot back then. Yeah, that was probably a lot of money.
Window tax.
That would probably be like us having to drop a $50 note, 20, 25, 30, something like that. You know, like all of a sudden it was like pennies. Okay, we'll pay it. And now you're doing that. Fuck you.
Increase of just 2,000%.
I had an interview with a railway official at York, and he told me that the railway gave us light.
I don't quite understand that. The light that comes in your window is by courtesy of
From
British
the rail.
And I said no, it was not. But he said that the railway, we were on the railway, they looked over onto the railway property, and therefore they gave us light.
What a bunch of horseshit.
What a fucking bunch of assholes, dude.
Even back then, you can prove that. Like, you can prove that.
The light's not coming off of your damn land, guys.
There's a large sun over there. It's pretty far away, but you know.
Are they also asserting that their land runs from the ground, basically below it through infinity and increasing upwards into space, assumedly?
Yeah, dude.
Do they own several miles of space that's vertical from them?
Yeah, exactly. 100% they do. They've probably got a star out there that's theirs now, you know? Isn't that crazy? Ain't that a thing? We'll wrap up clips with this one here. It's appropriate for what we talked about in the last segment in Halloween. I found this pretty interesting, but this is the evolution of spiders.
A lot of the horror that spiders emit is due to how different they are from us.
Listen
However,
to this.
they are also incredibly different to basically all animals, including.
So I don't think spiders are animals. They are, and this is another video that's going to prove that
they're animals.
They're not animals. Listen to this.
Ones you would usually associate with them. For instance, unlike insects, they don't really have a head. Their body and head has been fused together into one structure, leaving horrifying eyes and fangs attached directly to...
Think about that, though. They're like the only thing that their like body and head is one. Think about that. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, that could just be their head.
No. But no. That's not what he's saying. Listen to what he just said there. Listen to what he just said.
I know what he said.
Well,
for instance,
it could just be a head.
Insects, they don't really have a head. Their body and head has been fused together into one structure, leaving horror.
Body and head has been fused together in one structure. That's different than most insects and almost all other animals.
Maybe.
Even fish have a skull and a spine, right? They're all fused into one. That's nuts. Here, check it out.
Spiders eyes and fangs attached directly to spindly legs. Scientifically known as the cephalothorax, the structure that houses the body and head of arachnids. But the differences don't stop there. Their orb-like eyes work very differently to most other bugs, and they even have a different way of moving their legs that makes their movement especially creepy. This is because insects and spiders are not actually very closely related at all. They may have last had a common ancestor over 500 million years ago, which means that humans are more closely related to sharks than insects are to spiders.
Yeah. Yeah, brah. Yeah,
All of
brah.
them still animals, though.
Not in my account. They're fucking aliens or something, dude. They're not real. They're not animals.
Spiders and arachnids had marine ancestors, and the story of their evolution can be traced back 500 million years ago on the sea floor to a small creature, maybe only a little larger than your thumb, named Molossonia planovenatrix.
Look at that
Tiny,
thing.
but due to living...
That thing's gross.
I want to eat one of those.
No, I want to squish it. I don't want to eat it. I want to squish
At
it.
a time when most creatures were tiny, they probably would have been mighty predators, equipped with many sharp, pointy appendages that helped them kill and consume their prey. Most noteworthy of these were the small claws just above its mouth, known as the chelicerae, which would be inherited by all of its ancestors, including spiders, as this is where spiders' fangs come from, also known as chelicerae, as they aren't really fangs, they are actually a highly modified arthropod appendage. Molossonia planovenatrix was the common ancestor of the Chelicerata. Named after their mouth appendages, the Chelicerata are one of the major divisions of creatures.
I never knew that, though. That spiders in general all kind of came from the sea.
I mean, Owen, we just watched a video where basically we all came from the sea.
We all came from the sea, I suppose. Maybe
and we're all animals.
And we're not. There's not a lot of animals. Check this out.
4 people were arrested during a Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest. Thousands of people.
Just so you know, just in case you didn't know, there were 4 people arrested at a Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest.
Why are we doing this?
RSVP'd to YouTuber Anthony Poe, saying they would be in New York City's Washington Square Park to celebrate the 28-year-old actor. A top prize of $50 was promised to the person who looked the most like Chalamet.
I'm feeling great right now. Give this man $50. Where's my $50?
The biggest surprise happened when the actor himself arrived at the park during the festivities.
He looks like he works on a construction site.
He does, yeah. I mean, he's a nice looking kid. He's a good looking guy. But this is crazy. This is a thing that happened.
NYPD wasn't so excited. Officers arrived on the scene to disperse the crowd. Authorities say 4 people were arrested and later released with a summons. Organizers of the contest were fined $500 for an unscheduled demonstration.
You know what? That's worth $500.
Yeah, but
That's
all it
worth
does is give more
$500.
popularity for Chalamet.
I feel like I could use that as a networking opportunity, you know? The Oh No Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest next year. You know what I mean? Like, it happens again. Like, yeah, you could do some.
I feel like with that mustache, I kind of look like Timothy Chalamet now.
You don't look like him.
I look like
Mikey.
B-list Chalamet.
No, you do not. You look nothing like him. And guys, that was.
I'm hot. I'm hot.
In fact, Mikey, you look like the least like Michael, whatever. What was his name? Timothy Chalamet?
Chalamet.
Yeah, you look the least like him of anyone I've ever met in my life. Like, I think I look more like him than you do. I think Ty looks more like him. I got a bit of Hinchcliff. Hinchcliff can't grow a good beard like me, though. That's the.
He's got it for facial hair.
Yeah, no. I did find something in your notes that you you all share. I did find something interesting that you had thrown on there. Oh, and by the way, that was good clips, right? That was good.
Yeah, great clips.
Good clips. Ty apparently
8.
just decided to dip. I don't know what that was again. The Ty dip.
Was he got another D&D game though?
Probably. I don't know. Who knows with him? His phone probably died. is what I would guess as that's probably what happened. But no, 8 out of 10, you said? 8 out of 10?
I said 8.8.
Oh, that's solid. That's solid. Yeah. But no, I did find something interesting from like our notes, and because I've seen this almost happen before, and it's always scared the shit out of me, and it's really interesting. But you said that you saw a guy on a bicycle get like kind of that air push thing by traffic, I guess, like into a ditch. Can you explain that to me, like what exactly you saw? Because I've sort of seen it, but not like to it, like, oh my God, okay, that guy's okay, right? Like I've seen it, but I'm not like, what happened?
All right, so you know how even if you're in your car and maybe you pull out onto a road or something and a semi passes you in the other lane, you feel that like, oof.
Yeah, no, you
like
do.
that little buffet of air that kind of blows you.
Of course you do, yeah.
So, right in front of my work is a little 2-lane road. It's Old Cheney Highway. It's a little shitty 2-lane road. It's got no bicycle lane on either side.
No, it's a weird little connect through in between two major roads.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people used to use it as a little shortcut around that light and everything. I don't know if they still do that.
They still do.
Yeah.
They still do pretty much.
And any time you have one of those roads, people fly through them because they're trying to use the shortcut. Like they're doing the zip around type thing. My road that I live on is actually kind of one of those because, like, if you know what you're doing, right, to avoid
you can just
avoid a traffic light. If you're going this direct, you couldn't do that, right? So I imagine you've got a lot of people that fly through there pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, on the regular, we have like 2 or 3 guys on motorcycles that just fly through there. They've got to be doing like 40, 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's too fast for that road. That's what, yeah.
It's a 30-mile-an-hour road, and it's literally just lined with houses. There are businesses on each end of this little road, but the whole middle of it is just a housing development, basically, or multiple housing developments.
Yeah.
So, but directly in front of my work, the road on the side that's closest to my job is a parking lot. The other side is the white line about 1 inch, and then the concrete ends, and there's about a 4 to 5 foot drop off the side of the road. And that's like a little small drainage ditch, and then it's a field. It's a small field until some houses. And like you said, a lot of people use this cut through just to avoid that whole big Cimarron mess going under the bridge. It's literally like 7 or 8 lanes across the whole thing, and it's very dangerous. It's not a great intersection.
Yeah.
So people use the little road in front of my job constantly.
It's a super busy area of town too. Like that's at the corner of 2 of the busiest roads in Orlando, realistically.
Yeah, 50 and Cimarron, that little interchange right there is it's madness.
Yeah, it is.
So not only do we get a lot of like just actual car traffic through there, we get a lot of foot and bike traffic also passing through there. Because the interchange at Cimarron has become so massive, a lot of people use this little cut through to also subvert going through that, just walking. So, I've seen a lot of like close calls, a lot of people backing their car out into the road, almost getting just completely careened by another car. But it was I believe it was Wednesday, my last day before my break. It's the middle of the day, and I'm just kind of like staring out because there's no business. I'm just kind of watching the cars go by, watching the vagrants and the pedestrians just all pass by.
Sure.
And I see this guy riding his bike on the far side of the road with almost no bike lane. He's literally just riding on, I kind of see him come by.
What is he dressed in?
So he's got like jeans on, a wife beater. He's got a backpack, a hat. Like
so
he looks.
he's vagrant adjacent at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's either a vagrant or he's a DUI.
I thought it might have been one of the like a guy like in an actual like like the bike racing shirt and shorts. And,
like the full getup.
Yeah. It wasn't one of those guys.
This is your typical like either working construction.
This is primary mode of transportation, probably. Like that's I'm not gonna say down on his luck, but probably not wealthy human being. I'm putting the pieces together here. Okay.
So he's riding on the far side on the white line, like just the shoulder, and I see like one or two cars pass him, and then a very large, like, it's not a full-on semi, but it's a pretty large, like, box truck. Like
so like a
truck
24, 36-foot box truck type thing.
Yeah, one of these big guys.
Yeah.
And it's hauling down the. I think it's speeding down the road as well.
This honestly, everything you're just saying sounds like an AV guy with a box truck. That's how we drive typically, and it's a guy that's like, it will drive them on occasion, but doesn't do it all the time. So he's a little dicey, you know what I mean? Like he's got control, but he's a little dicey with it, you know? Like it's someone like that. It's a company that like, you know what I mean? Like it's in that realm of like that guy. Yeah. That guy probably was being a little too much of a dick and whatever. So did he? I can already picture what's happening in my head, and I want to hear exactly what happened. But
so it happens pretty quickly. And it's kind of hard to see, so I'm probably gonna, I'm only gonna tell you what I can imagine happened.
Right.
But the box truck goes by, and as the box truck goes by, all I see as the box truck exits is the bike is now like front wheel and like the front of the bike
down in the mud.
Pointed down. Because the bike has come off the road,
right.
And what I assume happened is the bike immediately came off the road, and then everything shifted down, and the back end just went up over the front.
He went ass over tit.
Yeah.
He went that. Oh man, that's ooh.
So I basically see this guy get launched down, probably about.
So you saw the launch or didn't see the launch because of the truck? Like
by the time I see it, like he's already fully in front of his bicycle,
right?
Like heading towards the ground.
You saw him hit?
I can't see him hit because it's far down enough off the road.
Oh, so he's into the ditch at that point. He's below,
he basically got. I assume bike tire goes off the road. The whole thing shifts, and he just gets basically thrown down.
Man, that's
into a ditch.
Suck. That's gotta suck so bad, dude. That would be very, very, very painful. Did you help him at all? Like, did you?
Well, like, so I'm standing in the restaurant, like behind, like, not behind our counter, but like behind our little bar area where like you can eat and look out into the street. So as I see this happening, I'm like, whoa. And, I get out of the restaurant, I get, into the parking lot, and I'm like looking, across the street. Before I leave, I yelled to the other guy that was there. I'm like, hey, like something just like, I think there was an accident out front. Like, I'm going to go check this out. But I get out to right where I'm about to cross the street, and the guy like kind of, lifts himself up. I'm like, hey man, is everything okay? Like I'm shouting out to this guy. I'm like, is everything okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And like he lifts his bike up, and like he like kind of like walks it back up. And he damn near got hit again because he just kind of like gets up and starts like pushing up into the road. And another car is just like, whoom, just flies right by him.
Oh, man.
So I'm already super nervous that this guy is like concussed and like he's just going to try and cross the road and not pay attention.
Yeah, it's scary.
But he manages to make it across the road. And I'm like, hey, man, you can just sit down for a second. Like, do you need an ambulance? Do I need to call anyone? He's like, no, don't call anyone. Don't call anyone.
Because I've got warrants.
It either means he's got warrants or he 100% like has either a bad name with whatever hospital they're going to take him to, or knows that like an ambulance ride is like $400 or $500 and doesn't want to deal with it. But he's consistently like, no, I don't want help. Like, don't call anyone. Like, I'm okay. And he looks fine. Like, he's not bleeding or anything. But I'm like, the way you walked over here was a little goofy, and I can't tell if that's how you always walk or if you walk
or
this
if
way
you're
now.
knocked a little silly right now.
Yeah, but I let him sit there. I got him some water, and I'm like, you can chill here for like as long as you need. If you need me to call anyone, just come inside. But like, I gotta go back inside. You seem like you're
knocked
telling me
about.
you're okay.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
But
You
definitely,
man, that's scary though. That's a really scary scenario. I'm glad you did the right thing and helped him out a little bit, but it's also fucked up by the truck. Like, there's a lot of things to that, but ultimately, like that is just kind of like a life flash before your eyes type scenario. Like, that could have gone way worse.
Oh yeah. Well, and I asked him, like, bro, did like the truck clip you or what happened? And he's the one who said, like, no, man, it was just like
the wind,
like the gust that kind of got me.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, bro, that sucks.
You don't
but,
think
I mean,
about that,
as long as
but
you're okay.
yeah, man, that's crazy. Do you want to do one quick little fun bit that I had prepared tonight? Since we didn't do Oh No Show and Tell, we'll end with this. Like, it's not Show and Tell.
What do you got?
We'll bring that back next week. So I got a new one this week. Hang on, let me set it all up. I'm gonna need a theme song for this one. This one's definitely gonna need its own individual theme song, but we'll use our other music instead. This week, I'm introducing a new segment called Pubes. All right, and that's just the name of it. It's just called Pubes.
Okay.
All right. So we now speculate. I put 4 names on my list. Every week we will do 3 to 4 names, and we will speculate what their pube situation is like. We will tackle the celebrities one by one. I'm gonna start with this one. What do you think?
Are we judging male and female?
Oh yeah. Lady
Okay.
Gaga is my first one here, Mikey. What do you think her pube situation is like?
Lady Gaga's an eccentric.
Uh-huh.
She's a bit of a wild card. She's a little out there, some would say. So I'm gonna say that her pubic hair is probably not any different than that outward portrayal.
It's a bleach blonde runway strip.
See, I went with something a little different. Lady Gaga rocks like a full 70s bush.
No,
but in a perm.
No way. No.
Perm, bro.
She's too clean for that. No way that she's doing that. I don't think so anyway. What do you think about Tom Brady? What's Tom Brady doing now down there?
I think he keeps that respectful little tuft right above the base of the shaft.
But he goes down. He trims his balls.
Clean, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's pretty.
He's an athlete.
I would assume that's probably the case. All right. Good answer. What do you think Debbie Harry is doing down there?
Debbie Harry.
She's a little old. She's older. Now she's older. She's an old rock star, blondie.
Oh, okay.
You know, what is Debbie Harry doing now?
Even for her age, clean.
I don't think she goes full clean, but I think she does a decent trim. Like it's
very manicured.
Yeah, I think that's what Yeah, I think that's what she's doing down there. And then lastly, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't throw in one. What do you think, Danny? What does it look like in Danny DeVito's pants?
I think there's no maintenance at all.
I agree. I think that's full chaos down there.
Also, Owen, I was 100% correct about Debbie Harry.
What about her? You found
Clean.
pictures? Clean?
Yeah.
All clean.
Yeah, 100%. Just
Well, I mean, they new pictures. I mean, back
they're from the 70s.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've seen those pictures. Those are good pictures, but
you think as a mature person, she's decided
Well, I think that changes, doesn't it? Right? Yeah,
I think women can change their style. I think it's like like parting your hair. At some point, you can choose to part from a different point.
But Danny DeVito, we agree though. Then it's just full. It's chaos down there.
Yeah, there hasn't been maintenance done in years. Can you go bald on your pubes?
I think you can thin. I don't know if you go bald. You know?
Can I get a bozo around my dick?
You might get a yeah.
I want to go full bozo dick.
Full bozo dick.
The name of the show right there. Hold on. Full bozo dick.
Guys, that was my new segment called Pubes. Do you like the name?
I like it because it tells everybody exactly what we're about to talk about. There's no dicking around with this one.
Nope, nothing at all. I didn't try and fancy it up or anything. I just went straight down the middle. You know what we're going to do? Get right to the...
We're going to talk about general hair.
Pubes. It's good. It's my new segment. Is there anything else that we need to address before we get out of here for the evening? Because I don't...
Yeah, real quick.
What is it?
How come pubes are called pubes, but your armpit hair, which is the same hair, we don't call that pubes?
It's slightly different. It's close. It's not. No, my pubes are. I feel like my armpit hair is less thick and less coarse, whereas my pubes, like, that's the only place I've really got curls. You know, my armpit hair, I don't have curls. I got curls down. You know, I don't.
Secondary question.
What?
Are the hairs in my asshole pubes too?
Yes. I think so. Yeah. I think they're ass pubes. Butt pubes. Yeah, they're in the same. Yeah, they are. They're close. I don't think they're the same hair though. I think there's a transition that happens between balls in the gooch and like somehow the hair sort of changes in between the ball and the butt. You know what I mean? Like somewhere in there, it sort of gets more, I think it gets softer. I think my asshole hair is softer than my ball hair. What do you...
that's what I'm wondering. Like,
I don't know.
I definitely feel like my ass hair is it's a little wavy like my pubes.
It's different hair though.
I also
You're right.
feel like it's softer. It's
softer.
More like armpit hair than
pubes. My butt hair is closer to my armpit hair. My ball hair is different than like my chest hair. All different hairs. That's an interesting study.
We got too many different. I wonder how many. Hold on, maybe we can ask.
Because my leg hair I got hairy legs. Like my leg hair is different than my other hairs. You know, my leg hairs are not pubes. You know.
Oh, so apparently we only have like 2 types of hair.
No, I got more than that.
But I definitely think like there are different styles of hair.
Nah, I got more than
all
2
over my
types of
body.
hair. I got more than 2. Definitely have more than 2.
I got at least 5.
Yeah, I got different hairs, different
pube,
armpit,
head,
butthole, head, face, different again, chest.
Yeah, definitely different than like hair.
Definitely different. Did we say leg?
No, we haven't said leg.
Legs on there. Even toe hair different than leg hair.
Definitely. I think they're all just different
hairs.
It's all like different thicknesses and coarsenesses.
Yeah, it's thickness. It's probably that's what it is. But different thicknesses in different places make them different types of hair to me in the way that you take care of them, right? Because leg hairs, I don't do nothing with leg. I don't shave my legs or nothing. Like leg hairs, I guess, just fall out.
Do they? Do they just like kind of just meh?
Do they? I don't know. My pubes will fall out sometimes.
I mean, well, we know that because we see them like on the toilet and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'll wipe them down on occasion when I'm feeling, spicy. But I mean,
I put them on somebody's Coke every now and then.
Just one.
Right
just
on the tab.
One, like right.
Not where
there.
your mouth is gonna go, because that's gross, but
No.
just right where you see it and know there's a pube there.
There's a pube there. Yeah. No, I get it.
I'm wild like that.
Yeah, I know you are. Should we wrap this thing up? I think I think we did a pretty good Ono radio show week for these people. What do you? How do you feel about it? I think we did. I think we pretty much knocked it out of the park. Like
I think
probably the best
when we
ever.
When we got up to bat for this one,
Yeah.
I was like, man, we're definitely gonna hit at least a solid double tonight.
Yeah.
But man, when we pulled that bat out and just started cracking it,
feel like
I think this one went out the park.
Oh, real out. I mean, because we are probably the best podcast that's not Tom and Dan in the Central Florida area. I mean, I just said probably. That's
we are so good
so we
and
are-
so talented
yeah,
that other podcasts literally stopped making their own podcasts.
They all quit because they knew nothing we can do with these guys hanging around here still doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it is incredible how good we are, Mike. Like how good
and not to mention how good we are. We then take it a step further.
Yeah.
And everyone just all the really good podcasts, all just incestuously go on each other's podcasts and like really circle the wagons, if you will.
I mean, none of it exists without us, without the template.
Over 1,000 episodes, guys.
I mean, not quite yet.
Oh, we're coming
up to yeah. We're all and just how like good looking and nice and cool we are. Like those things. Like everybody wants to be us. Everybody wants.
We're strong. We're leaders.
We're definitely leaders. We've been leading the way. I mean, for years,
I mean, like I said today, I literally led a line of people to not get skipped by some tyrant.
I feel like that right there should put us in like one of those weekly awards, like most like respectable man in Orlando. Like one of the you should get an award for that. Like you should already be in the top 5 of Orlando most respectable humans. I feel like that. And I'm a little bit behind you, but I did clean that lot across the street. I put away. I got rid of all the trash.
If we were handing out awards for influential men, I mean, you'd have to take home at least first and second place.
I mean, I would think I would probably try and win all three, so I get a bronze, silver, and gold. Like that's kind of the way I like to look at things. But I understand. But you're kind, in saying that,
I think you would be gracious enough to leave space for someone new.
I mean, I'd think about it, like who I was gonna pass the torch. You would look good with a bronze medal. You would look good with a bronze. I think I know I would look good in the gold, and probably the silver as well. But you can have the bronze.
I'm in for it.
We can do that. I'm not giving one to Ty. I'm not ever. If I win anything, I'm never giving anything of it to Ty.
Oh, you wouldn't even give him a participation trophy?
I don't think so. I've given up on him. He's just borderline useless and doesn't understand, the way that he doesn't quite get how good we are, right? And then so he wants to try and be as good as us, but then he let's be honest, Mike, he always fails, right? He's just not good enough anymore,
I love to think that it's coming. Maybe a tsunami of just talent. And
do you think if I keep insulting him, that will help his morale for the show and make him do more for the show?
I really haven't seen the other side of the equation, so I can't
insult him more is what you're.
No, I haven't really seen you insult him less.
No. So I should insult him more to encourage him.
Well, no, what I'm saying is I don't really know that will work because you've been insulting him the whole time.
No,
you've never actually tried.
Well, yeah,
not insulting him.
Yeah, I mean that's what works. So more insulting Ty will make him better, right?
Maybe it might.
Right.
I think we can safely say and give it 100% confidence that it might.
I would say that we would just have to experiment with the science. You know what I'm saying?
You could just really ratchet the pressure up.
I'm trying to do that.
You could invite you could host a hey Ty, I'm sorry we picked on you so much party, and then hire Tony Hinchcliff to do the apology.
Oh, I wish I had the money. I guess I'll just do it myself. Yeah. That being said, thank you for joining us for another week of Ono Radio Show. Thank you for listening to Ono 2.0. We'll be back hopefully again next week. I don't know when I'm going to release all these things. It's a wild world out there, but it's always fun getting together with my boys, getting together with you, and apart from Ty, over on the Ono Radio Show. Ty, he's just the worst, isn't he, Mike? He's just the worst.
No,
he's the worst. Oh God, he doesn't do it. He just doesn't. Something always a problem with Ty. Look at him. Guys, thank you.
I wonder where he went.
What? You wonder what?
I said I wonder where he went.
He died. I texted him. I said, I asked him, did you die? And he said, little bit. Audio feed died, but I also had to yak. So it was a combination of his phone.
The puke counter went up?
Puke count went up, and his audio feed died. That means that we thank you for listening, joining us for the Ono Radio Show. 407-906-6466 if you ever want to leave us a voicemail. Facebook.com/groups/Ono Radio Show. You know how to find people on Facebook. Join the group. It's awesome. We have a lot of fun in there. Patreon.com/ONRS, which will hopefully give me more money. I want the money, so give me the money. For Ty, I'll say goodbye. Mikey.
Bye, Ty.
Bye, Ty. It's been a very fun show. What do we want to say when the people's to get out of here, as we always do?
I think we like to tell them to eat
a bag of dicks. In a bag of dicks. We do what we do. We have fun. We enjoy our Onr radio show. And hopefully you do too. We'll see you soon. We'll see you next week. We love you. Goodbye. Eat a bag of dicks. And until next week.